I'm here. I was waiting for an email response that never came. I guess maybe they're asleep. You're going to be surprised who you've been talking to this whole time. I'll tell you that much.
What you think about?
Guaranteed.
When you're born into a fire, let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They want to let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race.
That's the end of the music. Uh-oh. Wait for the beep. We'll get it there. There it is. There it is. Roll the intro.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I am Will Bird. This is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for coming out. We got a couple things to cover. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got a big Patreon show. We're being called out. We'll probably be doing a live reaction to that for the patrons. That's Patreon only. That won't include Twitch subscribers. It'll be Patreon only. It'll be unlisted video for the patrons. So we're going to do that. We got a couple things to go over tonight. Most notably, I guess, Phil Godlewski lost his damn mind. He's coming out of the closet. I think that was the name of his show, Coming Out or some shit. Revealing my homosexuality, whatever that is, whatever that means. But it's there. We're going to go over that in just a second. Not yet. I don't know why Discord keeps not wanting to post my link. And it's supposed to automatically post when I go live. But I guess I need to pay more attention to it because it hasn't been. Discord, you piece of shit. Anyways, thank you for joining us. We got a couple things to go over. First of all, I'm starting to become a cucumber myself. I'm starting to believe some of the antics and things they've got going on. One of those is, you guys know the theory that a bunch of celebrities are still alive, right? Different celebrities are still alive. One of the most prominent of those celebrities was Michael Jackson. Now, we've listened to a lot of people like that lady that claims that she's Michael Jackson's lover or daughter or Donald Trump's daughter, and she's used to be Michael Jackson. You got the burn victim that was supposedly Michael Jackson. You got little kids saying, I know Michael Jackson well.
Yallery Nuts just resubscribed for 19 months.
Thank you very much for the resubscription, Yallery Nuts. Yallery Nuts, thank you very much. Yeah, so I didn't believe it at first, but I'm telling you, they're winning me over. Like I said, I myself may be becoming a cucumber. So I found this well-documented video of what I can only describe as the new and improved and God-worshiping Michael Jackson. Let's check it out here on the big screen. You tell me this ain't Michael.
Let's go! The devil tried to block me, tried to stop me, but no. Try to steal my blessing, but God said, oh no. I'ma send some angels to help my remnant. They're gonna see my goodness in the end time like never before. Devil, do you really think you can stop them? You can block them, devil. Do you really think you can stop them or block them, devil? Do you really think you
Annie, are you okay?
Or block them, devil? By the power of the blood, you are defeated.
Backup singer. Now I had to send this out to some of my specialists. I wanted to confirm this theory, so I sent it out to. I got an earlobe guy. I got an earlobe specialist. He's still going over the data, but I believe we're going to have a 100% match.
Devil, by the power of the blood, you are defeated.
course, the white guy is the tech guy. He's got a tablet over here to keyboard.
Hey, devil! You've been hit by, you've been stuck by the word of God.
The word of God. Devil, are you okay? Are you okay, devil? Devil, are you okay? Are you okay, devil? One more time.
Let's go! The devil tried to block me, tried to stop me, but no. Trying to steal my blessing, but God said, oh no. I'ma send some angels to help my remnant. They're gonna see my goodness in the end time like never before. Devil, do you really think you can stop them? You can block them, devil. Do you really think you can stop them or block them, devil? Do you really think you can stop them or block them, devil? But the power
That's right, another funny show.
are defeated.
I mean, I'm sorry. The Not Funny Show. The Not Funny Show. But one of my favorite channels is Not Funny. Along with Valtainment. Two of my favorites.
You've been hit by, you've been stuck by the word of God.
There you go. Michael Jackson lives, just like the cucumbers told us. There. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to argue up against them. To be honest with you, it's starting to get. What's the mathematical probability that all these things would be coming true? How many? There are no coincidences. Also, we're live on Twitch right now. Twitch replays going to YouTube. We're on Rumble and Facebook. We're a bunch of places. But Twitch came out with a new policy today, which, kind of benefits me. I think this is going to be a big moneymaker for me. So the brand new policy, which I plan to take full advantage of, is changes to popular dances. Popular dances such as twerking, grinding, and pole dancing are now allowed without a warning label. Previously, some dances were prohibited and others were allowed with a label. Enforcing on dances regardless of context meant our policy prohibited twerking at a wedding or taking a pole dancing exercise class, for example. The policy now takes context into consideration and only prohibits streaming inside of an adult entertainment establishment. So anything goes as long as you're not inside a strip club. There you go. Twitch getting better all the time. Hashtag save the kids. Hashtag what was that TikTok dance? It's getting good over here. So there you go. Twitch, it's not enough that they have the bikini or the booby streamers or the hot tub streamers. Now we can have full pole dancing streamers. Full pole dances. No questions asked. Pole dance as long as you're not in a strip club. If you're outside a strip club, in your house, at your drug dealer's opium den, then you're good to go. So shout out to Twitch for keeping the standard high on us streamers. So I'm proud of that.
Who do you have checking in on September 5th?
You guys know how much we love police clips, right? So this is a clip from the first 48, okay? Now, the first 48 is a theory that when a violent crime, murder, something like that happens, you've basically got like 48 hours to get out there, get the groundwork in, get some leads, or you're much more likely to end up with an unsolved or a cold case, right? You got 48 hours to get out there and get the leads. In this particular clip, a guy was murdered. Detectives traced it back to a hotel room. And this hotel room, the owner was also complaining because the person who rented the room stole the key. So this hotel owner is pretty upset, and he wants to report that to the police. Here we go.
Who do you have checking in on September 5th?
Ben Stolen.
Ben Stolen.
I think that's telling me the key's been stolen. I don't think there's a guy named Ben Stolen.
His name is Ben Stolen.
His name is Ben Stolen, and he acts the keys also been stolen.
You're You're telling me that you took a guy's name as Ben Stolen.
Right.
And your key is missing. Your key has been stolen.
No. His key he didn't drop off back in the
No. It's a key he didn't drop off back in the office.
Right.
But his name is been stolen. That's who you're looking for, officer.
Has been stolen.
No. His key he didn't drop off back in the office.
Right. So it's been stolen, right?
Yeah, it's stolen.
The key is stolen, right?
Right.
And the guy's name has been stolen.
Right.
You see Mr. Ben Stolen?
Double face palm.
Okay.
Call me.
Sure.
If you see Ben stolen, call me. Don't even start with me. 19 hours remaining to get a lead. All we've got so far is a missing key and Ben stolen. That's a pretty good clip.
Who do you have checking in on September 5th?
Ben stolen.
No, sir. I think that's telling me the key's been stolen. I don't think there's a guy named Ben Stolen.
His name is Ben Stolen.
You're telling me that you took a guy's name as Ben Stolen.
Right.
And your key is missing. Your key has
I'm
been
Vic Dumb.
No.
That's fine.
His key he didn't drop off back in the office.
Right. So it's been stolen, right?
Yeah, it's stolen.
The key is stolen, right?
Right.
And the guy's name has been stolen.
Right.
Do you see Mr. Ben Stolen?
Okay.
Call me.
Sure.
Dude, don't even start me.
There you go. Give me just a second. Let's see if we can find. There's one more clip that I want to play before we hop into the Phil thing. We've got a. This is not from Ben Stolen. This is actually about Ben stabbing a hitchhiker in the back of my buddy's car. You guys know Eli, our boy Eli. Eli told us that he met a guy. He told us he met a guy from the very, very, very popular YouTube channel, his favorite channel. He claimed it was his favorite channel, along with the Wide Underbelly channel, which is also mispronounced. It's Soft Wide Underbelly. His favorite channel is called Valuetainments. His favorite channel is called Valuetainment. And a person that works there came to Eli's liquor store to buy some liquor and said, man, I love your beliefs. I think we're going to have you on the show. We're going to at least get you a tour of the studio. If we get you on the show, we might pay you $2,000 for a 1-hour appearance on the Valuetainment, clearly pronounced up here at the top, Valuetainment show. Now, Eli's super stoked about that, much because it's his favorite channel. It's his favorite channel. Number one top favorite channel. He loves to talk about how amazing they are and they're not woke and they're beating up trannies or whatever he says. It's his favorite channel. Now, in the past, he's called it Val Entertainments. He's called it Valuements. He's called it Valuable Entertainment. But we've got one more to add to the list. This has also appeared on the Nothing Funny podcast. If you want to check it out.
Just resubscribed for 10 months.
Thank you for the resubscription. He also mentioned on the Nothing Funny podcast with his brand new one. So let's see. You can check out the Nothing Funny podcast on YouTube. Here is a clip from that show.
Yo,
what did I didn't say the name of your show accurately.
Oh, right. He got the Nothing Funny podcast show, the Nothing Funny show, wrong too. He called it Not Funny. That's the one that his bro hosts with his fans, the Not Funny show. But let's see what he talks about. His favorite show he's ever seen.
What did I didn't
Favorite
say
channel.
the name of your show accurately, by the way, and it was pointed out. Just like I don't title Valtainment, whatever. I like
Valtainment whatever. His favorite channel on YouTube is Valtainment whatever. He was invited to their studio. He was invited to possibly appear on the show. Couple $1,000 for an hour. And now it is the Valtainment show.
Say the name of your show accurately, by the way, and it was pointed out. Just like I don't title Valtainment whatever. I like things and I don't know the fucking names, and that's not a sin.
How dare you?
How many people would say that their favorite song or musician or actor or movie or YouTube channel, they don't even know the fucking name to it? They couldn't pronounce the name of it. I like things. I don't know words.
Y'all have a great show. I'm gonna be watching and supporting. And yo, what did I didn't say the name of your show accurately, by the way, and it was pointed out. Just like I don't title Valtainment whatever. I like things and I don't know the fucking names, and that's not a sin.
How dare you?
When this guy came up to him at the liquor store, he told him it's his favorite channel on all of YouTube. It's his favorite channel on all of YouTube. You know what my favorite channel on all of YouTube is? Slightly refrigerated alcoholic beverage. You're on it right now, guys. Chilled.
Just like I don't title Valtainment whatever. I like things and I don't know the fucking names, and that's not a sin.
How dare you? How dare you?
Can nail me to the.
And also too, by the way, you were kind of on the money too, because either way, the show is not funny. So I mean, you weren't wrong necessarily.
Bro, I'm on the inside. I just cannot.
Hey, yeah, exactly. We all laugh on the inside.
It is funny.
Yeah, see?
That's proof.
Check out the Nothing Funny podcast. You can go subscribe. Didn't mean to do that. Copy link address. Here you go. The Nothing Funny podcast on YouTube. You go check them out. Tomorrow on their other channel, which is the Stuck in the Middle, Stuck and Not, we're going to be doing a reaction, I'm sure. Eli's going on there to let us all have it. He started a petition to stop my bullying. He's going to petition me off YouTube. He plans to petition me off YouTube, and I'm there for it. Hell, I want to sign it. If there's a way that you could link it to me so I could sign the petition to remove my channel, you'd be doing me a great favor, and I would appreciate that. I take it as a amnesty. I'll give you some amnesty for it. If you link it to me, I won't call you out for linking it to me. I need to sign that petition. It's like a pre-war gift or a pre-Eli's funeral celebration. We just need to sign it. Wet ink signatures only. I've learned from Amanda QD codes. It's either wet or it's not it. Okay? It's either wet or it's not it. Not legit. All right, here we go. We got to hop into Phil. Phil's going back to CIA summer camp. We all know what has happened with Phil. We've all seen his sword testimony where he never worked for a 3-letter agency. He was never trained by a 3-letter agency. He was never recruited by a 3-letter agency. He thinks his dad talked to a recruiter one time, but he couldn't verify that. He has no NDAs to speak of that he can remember who he signed them with, when he signed them, what for, what was the position, or has copies of. But now he's full on the reveal, and here we go. Secret Squirrel.
Let's go.
I'm sure it is. Valtainment is just what the everyday watcher calls it. It's a cool abbreviation. It's actually what the host says all the time while Eli's watching it. He says, you guys could just call me Valtainment. Sometimes you can just call me Valmont. Whatever you want. Let's go.
Bergie 445
We might have to refresh this.
subscribed for 18 months.
Thank you very much, Bargy, for the resubscription. 18 months, a year and a half. That's a big deal. Thank you for the subscription. A year and a half. Hold on. Let's do this. 18 months. By the way, I reshared the Audible link. That is a free trial. It's 100% free for the Audible link. If they ask you for like payment information, that is just because if you don't cancel, you can cancel it. You can sign up and cancel it the next morning if you want to, if you're afraid you're going to forget. But it's a 14-day free trial. And whether you cancel or not, I don't care. If you cancel it, that I'm not going to be mad or upset. It's just doing the free trial that helps the show, that the show gets paid, right? It doesn't matter if you continue it. It doesn't. We get paid more if you continue it, but I don't care. I just need people to sign up for the free trial for Audible, where it's listening to books online. They have a full library of free books, plus you can buy credits to get newer books or more expensive books. But they have a bunch of free ones right there. 14-day free trial. The mods will be posting a link, I'm sure. I posted it, reposted on Telegram. Completely free to you, and they'll pay the show an affiliate fee. So thank you for that. By the way, 18 months, $4.99 a subscription is $89.82. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. So use the free trial. If you already have an Audible account, use that free trial to sign up with a different one. If you can, a different email. But try it out. Like I said, it's 100% free. Cancel it within 14 days to be charged absolutely zero, and the show gets paid either way. Back to Phil. I wonder if he's going to show us his turtle tattoo.
Let's go.
I don't know what this weird swallowing, let's get, what the fuck is this? Have a good one. Have a good one, Josh. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Let's go.
He wants people to think that he was contemplating whether he can reveal that he's a fucking spy. Yeah, that's the topic we're going to talk about, Secret Squirrel. Bill thinks that that's like a fucking term I made up, or that I call him. If he really served in any of these positions, he would know that term and know that's what we all joke, and that's what we all say. When you're with a 3-letter agency, everybody says Secret Squirrel. It's good to go. It has nothing to do with me. You've just never been there, bro. Yes, you have to use my link for us to get credit. It's like a tracking link, so it tells Audible that I sent you there. But I mean, for a free trial, I think we get $5 a piece.
But wait till it get home. She gonna be like, damn, shit, my God.
Will, love your show. I appreciate all you do. I'm not a Q-tard, and I love when you call him out. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you very much for the 6-packs. I appreciate it.
Tonight's a night you're not expecting.
Yeah, I think if you already have Audible, it's just going to send you to the Audible homepage if you're signed in. It won't give me credit for it, I don't think. It's for new users, so I wouldn't think they do. But there's different bounties that come up at different times. I've been ignoring the bounties because I hate to ask people to do shit, but I'm going to start looking at them more often now for sure. So like when you use my link on Amazon within 24 hours of checking out, we make like pennies. Like you might spend $80 and we make like 7 cents or so. Like it's really bad, right? But these bounty programs, which just means like they're really fucking pushing it right now. It's like a really big ad spend campaign. They actually have dollar amounts. So if you get somebody to do this, you get $5 here, $3 there. It's not like pennies. So I'm gonna start looking at them more often. And if it's something you're interested in, especially if it's something free, I'm gonna post it. I already emailed Tim Hinton. I know he has people watching Phil all the time, but he can't come on here. So these are called declarations. He's making declarations. If he doesn't come out and say that he's lying or that it's satire or that it's false or it's fiction, that he made it up, that he's telling a short story, and he makes this declaration here as truthful, and he's already under oath said the exact opposite, this absolutely will be brought up in court.
Tonight's a night
Because one of two ways he's lying, he has to prove which one's true.
I didn't expect what happened yet.
I think this is a grasp. Like, a lot of his fans have been upset with him. We've seen that in his chats. We've seen people getting banned. Q streaming's not working, even though he says his channel will be up any day now. I think this is like one of those big things he kind of held into the back of his pocket, or in his back pocket, to kind of throw out there when he thought that he needed to reel some people in. Oh, Phil said he works for the NSA. He finally told us he works for the NSA. Let's all go back and send him some money for overpriced silver.
But I'm tired. It's time. Now's the time.
I haven't looked at any of my advertising options recently. I need to go look and see if there are any games that they'll do a campaign for.
Now's the time for everyone to know the truth. And the truth. It's funny how the truth works. One truth, sometimes in certain situations, leads to a whole flood of truth. And sometimes that flood of truth has no choice but to reveal itself. Picture a mountain, pretty tall.
Picture a watermelon. Now, Tim, I've got this watermelon here. Trust me, I'm going somewhere.
At the top of that mountain, you have the equivalent of...
This is not the way truth works, okay? The truth is the truth, and the truth stands alone, right? That's literally a saying. The truth stands alone. This is the way a lie works. A lie leads to a lie, to another lie, to another lie, until it's a mountain of lies. You don't need more truths to prove something's true. You just need the truth, right? You need lies to prove something's true over and over and over and over and over again.
Lake Michigan, just sitting there at the top of the mountain, water. It's all pulled up, it's all blocked off, barricaded, but it's right at the very peak of the mountain. And so long as nobody disturbs the mechanisms that are in place to hold that water in place, the water won't come flying down the mountain. However, once someone decides that it's time to disturb those mechanisms,
okay,
the water has but no choice to flow down the mountain. Well,
it's a flood of truth.
Tonight, I'm going to disturb those mechanisms. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for me. There's going to be some pauses, some longer pauses. I don't know how long it's going to take. It could take 20 minutes. It could take 2 hours. So if I were you, I'd brace yourself.
Braced up. I'm braced, bro.
And
I'm so fucking braced.
Put on your listening hats and listen closely. First and foremost, for the purpose of legality reasons, I want to say that the following may or may not be true.
Because he just testified to the exact opposite in court. You can't just say this may or may not be true, then tell this whole story contrary to what you testified to in court and expect nobody to bring this up. You're going to have to testify about this again in court. I guarantee you. Phil's the worst at analogies. He's the fucking worst at Imagine this watermelon.
From the time I was 12, maybe 13 years old, I always had an interest in secrecy.
Because that right there is how we get secret agents. Kids who keep secrets. Kids who are in the closet. Adults who keep secrets about 15-year-old girls. You know, that's how we get our agents.
Now, obviously, that statement is very broad.
By the way, Phil claims that when he went to the NSA, he was under a different name, and he used to claim that he wasn't even Phil Godlewski. That was his original claim, that he wasn't born Phil Godlewski. That was just a name they gave him when he got out or whatever, until everybody found his birth certificate and social security number and shit. But he claims that the CIA basically made it look like he was never in the CIA or the NSA. I'm sorry. When I questioned him about this personally in his text messages, he said, "You'll never find my name. They made it look like I was never there. You'll see eventually. It'll all come out with proof, blah, blah, blah." So you're telling me that the CIA, NSA took you under their wing to go work with them, CIA summer camp, NSA as a job. You worked there. You were Edward fucking Snowden. They could make it disappear that you ever worked there, but they couldn't do anything about your criminal record and the stuff that appears there. That's weird. Kind of weird. You think they'd take the whole, hey, this guy was fucking a 15-year-old according to the newspaper down, but no, they just made it look like you worked at Subway.
Sort of secrecy, telling secrets from your parents, keeping secrets from your friends. And it's intentionally broad in the sense that
you like to keep secrets.
I found it really cool. Now, keep in mind, I'm a pre-adolescent, right? So I just found it really cool that
pre-adolescent. That sounds like something Eli would use. I'm gonna hit him up. Be like, have you ever thought about telling stories back from your childhood when you were pre-adolescent?
People and groups can operate in the shadows. Something could happen on one side of the world, and a certain group who will never get credit for it or be linked to it in any way could be responsible for that event, and no one will ever know. And I learned at a very young age, probably around 12 or 13, that that is how the world operates.
So if this was true, how could Phil confirm it? How would this be confirmed? So you can't call the CIA or the NSA and ask if such and such ever worked for you or a contractor for you, but I can go get paperwork that says that I worked a contract under a 3-letter agency, and Phil could go get paperwork that says that he worked a contract or with a 3-letter agency. The agency's not going to respond until it's years and years and years and years and years down the road and you're fucking dead and it's a Freedom of Information Act. But Phil could easily show paperwork. I could show paperwork that said I worked a contract that was actually under a 3-letter agency for a company. Why doesn't Phil just show the paperwork?
And I thought that was really awesome. So growing up for my teenage years, I expressed an interest in... Oh, you got static going on? Of course you do.
Keeping secrets. A lot of keeping secrets. By the way, when he testified in court, he didn't work for any 3-letter agency. He thinks he worked for a computer company analyzing competitors' websites. And when asked, well, what did you analyze on these websites? Can you name one of them? He said, it's all ones and zeros to me. I just looked at the ones and zeros, which is not how anybody looks at a fucking website. He couldn't remember the company he worked for. He couldn't remember how much he was paid. He couldn't remember any dates that he worked for him. He said, I just kind of on the weekends from my house, and maybe once I went out overnight. Then his mother, his father, and his wife at the time can't remember any of those bedroom missions he was on. He must have went to the shitter and been on the computer hiding from his wife. All dashes and hashes. That's it.
So growing up, I expressed an interest to those around
Beeps
me,
and boops,
friends, family, teachers, that was what I wanted my career to be. And I was met with a lot of unclear answers, almost answers of confusion, if you would, that such a career doesn't necessarily exist.
No, he knows he's lying. He 1000% knows he's lying because he testifies the opposite in court when it actually matters, when he can't prove anything. When they ask him, hey, where's this? He knows he's fucking lying. He also knows that Tim Hinton could come out and push Phil to the max and make him reveal that everything he's ever said on his Telegram page is a lie. 100% he could. But that's not Tim Hinton's job. Tim Hinton's job is to win the case. Now, I believe he's won a little extra. I believe he's done really well in exposing a bunch of the lies for his followers. I think that was maybe a secondary goal. But his actual goal is winning this case, and he's already fucking won it. It's going to be thrown out. So short of him telling absolute lies like this is going to come up. I guarantee you. He came in and testified 3 weeks ago. No, this was his previous testimony. He came in and testified, never worked for an agency, never wanted people to think he worked for an agency, that the interview he did with George Magazine was all a fucking lie. And now he comes out and says, oh, I was working for the NSA. This is 100% going to come back up because one of these is not true, and we all know which one it is, right? He testified in court to the truth. He lies to his followers.
Well, then the internet was invented. And I figured, well, if no one is going to tell me how to do what I want to do, I'm just going to teach it to myself. So I started teaching it to myself, and when I was old enough...
That's absolutely not the way the internet worked when Phil was young.
...to ask the right people involved and reach out to the right people that would be involved in such an operation, I started getting calls. And those calls led to interviews. Those interviews led to apprenticeships. And those apprenticeships led to tryouts.
By the way, again, in court, he has no idea what the company he worked for was, and he thinks he made 9/11 videos once.
She gonna be like, damn, shit, my God.
Your show is what I listen to, driving back and forth to work 3 hours a day. So much better than a regular radio show. You do a great job. Thank you. Thank you very much, Gary. I appreciate the donation. Thank you for that. He can't remember the companies he worked for. He doesn't have any. He's still... Now imagine this. I know most of you all are not fucking secret agents like every goddamn person on the internet seems to be. I've signed an NDA. Imagine you sign an NDA that's so strict you can't say who you worked for, when you worked there, what you did, what capacity you worked there in, what your title was, what equipment you used, what you did for this company, how you made a living, when you worked there, where you worked at, hours you worked. You can't tell any fucking details. You can't tell any fucking details at all. That's how strict this NDA is, and you can't produce a copy of it. I have NDAs that I'm under. That every one of them's in a fucking box. Oh, it's in like an accomplishment binder or whatever, right? It's got like everything I'm certified in, all my training, and then in the back it's got all my paperwork about NDAs and disclosures and shit like that. Imagine having one that you follow to a T when you show up in court. Clandestine operations. Well, if I told you about them, they wouldn't be clandestine, would they? Who are they for? Can't tell you. NDA. Even the judge is like, bullshit. You got to come back and talk about these NDAs. That's not how an NDA works, you fucking retard. And then suddenly he's like, I don't know. Can't find them. Haven't seen them. Don't know where they went. But I'm still following them. I remember them all up here.
There's only one person in the world other than me that knew what I was doing, where I was going. That person will keep that a secret till his dying day. Within my inner circle, I should say, the people that were, with me at these endeavors, they obviously knew I was there because they were there. That's what I wanted. I wanted that to be my life. I wanted that to be my career. I wanted that to be my future, and I wanted to affect change worldwide and be able to do it in such a manner that which no one knew that I was doing it, because I didn't want someone to prevent me from doing it again and again. I wanted to be able to continue to affect change, good change, honest change.
Yeah, they can be different lengths of times. You'll hear a lot about, like, if you're doing like actual secret squirrel stuff, you'll hear a lot about 30 year, 60 year, 90 year. I don't know why in the intervals of 30s. There's 100 years I've heard of before. But it's usually very specific details. I can say I worked for this company. I can say I was overseas. I can say that we were in Uganda at one time. I can say we were in Iraq. I can say we were in Afghanistan. I just can't tell you the actual mission capacity. Like on the 16th of July, we arrived in Ramadi. Like, I can't tell you that shit. Like 8 a.m. Our target was like, get the fuck out of here. You could tell everything else. Everything else. And a lot of it's to do with very specific, like trade craft, unit size, other people you served with, TTP, tactics, techniques, and procedures kind of deals.
Criminal organizations, drug manufacturing, drug trafficking. Back then we didn't know a whole lot about human trafficking, but we did know a lot about...
You worked for the NSA and CIA on drug trafficking?
Terrorism, and where terrorism operated within the country. and abroad. I wanted to be the head. I wanted to be the guy. I wanted to be the apex.
What I was saying earlier is he did claim a couple times that he worked with this group of people. He didn't know any of their names. They were all working on separate projects. He met them all online. They only had usernames, and they were making videos, DVDs, burning DVDs about 9/11. But he never contributed to their DVDs, and they never contributed to his DVDs. Everything was separate, and he would walk around and give them to people.
Just everyday language. It's part of your vocabulary. If you didn't,
I skipped
and
some.
I couldn't quite understand why. It wasn't, and be able to do it in such a manner when I was old enough, and groups can operate in the shadows. At a very young age, probably around 12 or 13, that is how the world operates. And I thought that was really awesome. So growing up through my teenage years, I expressed an interest in, I got static going on? Of course you did.
Secrecy. You guys remember when he was like, oh, we go over here to this website. Hold on. We as Anons go over here to this website right here, and this is where we post secret information. What does this say, .onion? That's not a normal website. That's a code. You can't go to a .onion website. So this says S4K. So that means sex for kids. This is probably an intel drop about trafficking, when he doesn't realize this is called the Hidden Wiki, and all it does is keep a list of .onion websites that you can go to through the dark web. These are all real websites that you could go to if he knew what the dark web was. But when I pressed him about the dark web, he was like, oh, you have to have like a special computer that my buddy set up away from my house. And I said, how do you access the dark web? He's like, well, my tech buddy set it up, and you just turn it on, and you're on the dark web. Oh, really? That's how it works? You don't download, like, the Tor browser? You don't download, like, connect through it, and then it advises you a bunch of times, be running VPN. It actually shows you where your connection is coming through. Then you open the Tor browser, and you type in a .onion website and go to it. That's not how it... Nope. My buddy built this dark web computer box that I just turn on. It says, welcome to the dark web. You have dark mail. Got it. Got it, Phil. What about the trip code to post as Q? When you claimed that you were on the boards, which you don't even know how they function, and you posted as Q, what about the trip code? You had to, how did you get the trip code? Who sent you the trip code? If you were one of the posters, how did you have the trip code to guarantee that you were the actual Q? Oh, Ron Watkins signed me in every time. Ron Watkins, I would just say, hey, Ron, sign me into the Q account. Well, that kind of breaks the entire theory around Q, that there was somebody with a secure account. If Ron Watkins was just signing people into it, seems kind of weird, no?
Should be good.
Not Phil. He has no idea what Tor is. I asked him specifically. I said, "Do you know what Tor is?" And he's like, "What you mean?" I was like, how do you get on the dark web?" He's like, "Oh, my tech buddy, kind of like two-factor authentication."
Interest to those around me, friends, family, teachers. That was what I wanted my career to be. And I was met with a lot of...
He said that because he accesses the dark web, that he has to keep that computer at a separate location away from his house, so people don't know that he's on the dark web.
Unclear answers, almost answers of confusion, if you would, that such a career doesn't necessarily exist.
It doesn't.
Well, doesn't necessarily. unclear answers, and I was met with a lot of unclear answers, almost answers of confusion, if you would, that such a career doesn't necessarily exist. Well, then the internet was invented. And I figured, well, if no one is going to tell me how to do what I want to do, I'm just going to teach it to myself. So I started teaching it to myself, and when I was old enough,
in 1983, when the internet was invented,
to ask the right people involved and reach out to the right people that would be involved in such an operation.
He said Ron Watkins signed him in to the Q account so he could post as Q.
I started getting calls. And those calls led to interviews. Mm-hmm. Those interviews led to apprenticeships.
Okay.
And those apprenticeships led to tryouts. There's only one person in the world other than me that knew what I was doing, where I was going. That person will keep that a secret till his dying day.
You think maybe he thought it was the CIA, but actually he was just one of the flag twirlers behind the band at his school?
Within my inner circle, I should say, the people that were, with me at these endeavors, they obviously knew I was there because they were there.
The whole thing that keeps Q on the boards, I could go on there right now and say my name is Q, or my name is Q Patriot, or whatever. The only thing that makes it from the same person each time is the trip code. It's a password that you put in that runs through a couple different algorithms to scramble it, and it'll be the same every time as long as I put the same. If I put in watermelon every time, it'll come out EX249673 every time. So that's the only way that you can be sure that you're talking to the same person, because there are no usernames. You pick a username every time you show up there. The trip code is the only thing that keeps it secure. So people were saying this has to be the Q guy posting because it's trip code. Not if Ron Watkins is just signing people in, then Ron Watkins could have signed in anybody. Could have been Ron Watkins posting it all. Who knows?
That's what I wanted. I wanted that to be my life. I wanted that to be my career. I wanted that to be my future, and I wanted to affect change worldwide and be able to do it in such a manner that which no one knew that I was doing it, because I didn't want someone to prevent me from doing it again and again. I wanted to be able to continue to affect change, good change, honest change, criminal organizations, drug manufacturers.
It would be like the same as like you go to YouTube to watch my videos as Cold Beer Confessional. Tomorrow, a different Cold Beer Confessional pops up, but they don't have any of my videos. They don't have my profile picture. It just says Cold Beer. It's just the name. You'd be like, oh, this isn't the person, because all the evidence that exists that this is the same person isn't there. His old videos, his post, his everything, his profile picture, his intro, his everything isn't there. That's the only way to tell, because anybody can make a Cold Beer Confessional channel. They just have a different link.
Drug trafficking. Back then, we didn't know a whole lot about human trafficking, but we did know a lot about terrorism and where terrorism operated within the country and abroad. I wanted to be the head. I wanted to be the guy. I wanted to be the apex of that organization that would somehow affect.
He might have been watching Eli. I want to be the head. I want to be the guy. I want to be the apex. I want to be the precipice. I want to be the tippy top. I want to be the top of the mountain.
Change in a good way. Growing up, I saw what the world was turning into.
The CEO, lead executive.
The first war in Iraq, Desert Storm. Assassination attempt of presidents. I watched all those documentaries just like you guys did. And somewhere along the line, humanity had gotten off track, and I couldn't quite understand why. It wasn't obvious as to why that was happening. So I wanted to be a part of something that would not only figure out why that was happening, but prevent it from happening. Because
every group of people since the dawn of time has started out more conservative and became more liberal or progressive through time. Times change, right? It used to, like, no one had tattoos. Then tattoos were just like for fucking prisoners and gang members. Now everybody has fucking tattoos.
Racism was peaking. We would just throw out the word gay and fag and dyke like it was just everyday language. It's part of your vocabulary.
Yeah, they probably hurled them at you, buddy.
If you didn't like a person, for any reason, you would just say, oh, well, they're gay. you know, like it's a negative word. The whole world, in my estimation, was just, I wanted to do something with my life that affected enormous change on a large scale platform. So in my early years of high school, I accepted an invitation to the Central Intelligence Agency.
Listen, in high school, he accepted an invitation to the CIA
of the United States.
Of the United States. Not the CIA of Mexico. The CIA of the United States.
I didn't really know much about the CIA. But what I did know, it was such an organization that matched what I was looking for. And short of going abroad,
never, ever, ever worked for the government in any capacity. Under oath, when asked, did you work for a particular agency? Did you work for the CIA? Did you work for the NSA? Did you work for any other government agency? Were you a contractor? Did you work for the government in any capacity? Have you ever had a clearance? Any type of clearance whatsoever? All of those were no. No, no, no. Under oath, testifying in his own fucking case, where this type of stuff would probably help him out. He said no. The CIA ended up deciding that his primary mission was going to be Italian cheese blend bread toasting. We got to get to the bottom of it. White or wheat.
And finding something else or somewhere else. Here, we'll give this a try. So 2 summers.
The CIA, their slogan is, would you like to have a beverage and a cookie for just $1?
While I was in high school.
I could see Phil firing a gun, killing the bad guy by exploding a propane tank behind him. And he's like, white or wheat, motherfucker. And then it just fades to black.
I had attended a apprentice and training program for new recruits to the Central Intelligence Agency. Apparently back then, I don't know if they still do it the same way now, but people that were being recruited.
They don't do this. They don't bring minors to any facility and train them for the CIA. They don't do this. The first place you're going to go to is a farm. Do they look in colleges and high schools? Absolutely. They're looking for like exceptional test scores and aptitudes towards that type of stuff. They're looking for bilingual, especially if you have if you speak like fucking Pashto or fucking Russian or some shit like that. But these are like, they almost treat it like a job fair. It's not even like secretive. It's like a job fair. Hell, they showed up to our high school and asked us if anybody wanted to be in the CIA. A job fair. They're looking for analysts too. They're not looking for field agents. They're looking for analysts when they're looking at like test scores and fucking bilingual or more. They're looking for analysts.
To such an agency were
they farm from the military.
Monitored prior to being actually invited to Langley into the recruitment base and to, you know, all these different sites that they had. Make people think, well, if you're going to be recruited to the CIA, then you are going to go straight to Langley and start working there. That's not how it works, especially if you're at a young age. So off I went. I believe it was a 6-week program over the summer.
Yeah, they will come to a lot of colleges for job fairs. That's not unusual, especially like a lot of tech schools, a lot of prestigious schools that are like known for having like extremely smart kids. You can just go submit a resume. You can, if they know about you, you can actually receive invitation links to apply for certain positions. Yeah, there's the CIA has like a 4 or 5 step hiring process. It's not, hey, let's get this 15-year-old kid out of high school and send him to summer camp. And he's not getting used to us. We're getting used to him.
The first summer, which I guess would have been my junior year of high school, it was more or less a...
By the way, the very first requirement is 18 or older, obviously.
hey guys, if you want me to speak any quicker, or if you want me to talk about something different, just leave. Because this is how it's going to go. So if you don't like it, you could wait for the replay and you can watch it on 2 times speed or do whatever you want to do. But this is my story and this is how I'm telling it. So if you don't like it, you could save yourself time from typing out a comment in the chat over here and just go fuck yourself. Okay?
Okay.
All right, great. The first year was more of a getting used to.
By the way, I've got him sped up at 2 times speed. Let's see what they were complaining about. Hold on, I'm going to back up about a minute. I'm going to put it in normal speed. Let's see what they were complaining about with how fast he speaks here.
Many people think, well, if you're actually that we're being recruited to such an agency, we're monitored prior to being actually invited to Langley into the recruitment base and to, you know, all these different sites that they had. Many people think, well, if you're going to be recruited to the CIA, then you are going to go straight to Langley and start working there. It's not how it works.
Imagine that is how it works. After you pass everything, as you pass the thing, you'll just be invited to Langley. If you're a field agent, you'll still come to Langley to do polygraph and a bunch of other shit before you ever go to the farm. It's not like the movies show it where it's like a frat abduction where they put like a black bag over your head and you just show up and your testicles are strapped to a car battery. Or your testicles are strapped around a 15-year-old that you're not supposed to be seeing. And the school system and your wife knows about it. That's how it fucking works.
Especially if you're at a young age. So
here's why the CIA is not taking minors. Okay, they might be if you're some type of super exceptional. I actually have a personal story that I think revolves around this. But if you're like super exceptional, they might be like monitoring you. They might even be.
SRT8_ on a just resubscribed for 14 months.
Thank you very much.
Love the show as usual. I can't believe he's going back to this lie. What's up with the peach fuzz on Phil's face? Lol, new look.
So they definitely all three of their agencies I think use like farming techniques where they probably have programs within high schools and colleges that are looking for extremely exceptional people. And those entities exist on their own. Like, right, they're there to like, you know, get you into college or get you a scholarship. They're like extracurricular things. But I guarantee you the CIA's fucking looking at files and numbers and stuff. The reason they wouldn't just take a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, whatever, somebody before 18. Could you just imagine, let's say a 15-year-old boy is recruited by the CIA at CIA summer camp. Freak accident happens. And he fucking dies. He had a pulmonary embolism that no one diagnosed, right? He had you know, a fucking brain bleed. And he dies on CIA property. Could you imagine the fallout from that? Like, why does the CIA have children? What are they doing to these fucking children? Why did they fucking why did they die at a CIA summer camp? What's going on at this summer camp? We would have heard about this. It just doesn't happen.
Off I went. I believe it was a 6-week program over the summer.
What really happened is he went to a church summer camp where him and a pastor had a secret handshake that he learned years later was just called a hand job. He's probably repressed all those memories of youth pastor Steve, and he's replaced them with fantasies about the CIA.
First year, the first summer, which I guess would have been my junior year of high school, it was more or less a hey guys, if you want me to speak any quicker or if you want me to talk about something different, just leave. Because this is how it's going to go. So if you don't like it, you could wait for the replay and you can watch it on 2 times speed or do whatever you want to do. But this is my story and this is how I'm telling it. So if you don't like it, you could save yourself time from typing out a comment in the chat over here and just go fuck yourself.
So we can tell it's pretty bad. I'm putting him back on 2 times speed. If that's something you don't like, you can't listen fast enough, I can't help you. I cannot listen to him at normal fucking speed. He's going to come out and say that he found out that the CIA was evil, but the NSA, the one that was being exposed for spying on us when they technically weren't supposed to be spying on us, when it was fucking illegal, when they had no warrants, no Fourth Amendment protection. No, that's the one he went to. The good ones.
Okay. All right. Great. The first year was more of a getting used to it year. And when I say it, I don't necessarily mean me or the recruits getting used to the area or the program. It was them getting used to us.
Them getting used to us. We changed the CIA when we got there. Most people think that the CIA will recruit somebody and they will mold them into what they want them to be, an analyst or a field operative or whatever. What actually happens is they bring people in and they tell us how you do it, so we can revolve around you.
And we didn't know that, because keep in mind, we're 16, 17-year-old kids. What we didn't know at the time was that we were being evaluated well before we stepped onto recruitment camp to even determine if we belonged there. It was an enormous... Static again?
Static again. Remember, he could fix this with a simple settings change. But he won't. Oh, shit. Hashtag same team. Christina bought you 15 six-packs. Thank you very much. Hashtag same team. I'm surprised she made a public payment like that. She usually pays in nudes. Shadow Gallery just informed me of that. And I actually had to check a folder, and there they were. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation.
Should be good now, locals? Why are people telling me to mute the chat? Okay. Well, before we even stepped foot on the recruitment areas, we were being watched, evaluated, graded. And the entire first year, that 6 weeks, was more or less a blur.
A blur.
I remember testing, more mind testing, more awareness testing.
That's how you pay your lawyer. We're not close enough.
Intelligence testing, if you would. Now, back around this time, I was good in high school. I was towards the top of my class. Can't remember exactly where, but
hit what? You can't remember exactly where? You guys know that for months and months and months, Phil tried to tell everybody that he was the valedictorian of his high school, until it was exposed that he wasn't even in the running for valedictorian. Now it's like, oh, I was at the top of my class. I'm not sure where. Well below all the other people. His mom even testified that he was an average student. He did well in some subjects, didn't do so well in others, but she thought he was bright.
You would think that because someone is, smart grades-wise, that would translate into something that an agency like the CIA would be looking for. And no. So the type...
It 100% does. When we're talking about analysts, when we're talking about intelligence is a main factor when we're talking about one of those jobs. When we're talking about field agents, obviously it has a lot more to do. It can even come down to connections you might have overseas, less connections you might have in the U.S. If it's someone that's all about their family and seeing their family all the time and still living here and couldn't imagine doing anything without their family, you're probably not going to get a field agent job, okay? If you have a great uncle who's in the fucking government in fucking Turkey, that might help you get a field agent job.
Of testing that would be done in these recruitment areas were testing that you didn't even necessarily know was happening. Body language testing, body temperature testing, pulse rate, mind activity, situational reactions to different situations.
By the way, he's going to try. So what he's trying to describe is what he thinks a movie field agent out here, like actual hands-on, a fucking spy from a movie, is recruited for the CIA. But Phil says that he was recruited in an analyst role or technology or working with computers. Why the fuck would they have to know how you react to someone getting fucking blown up beside you if you're on your computer in a cubicle reading text messages?
So
that's another thing. They will look at the medications you're on. They absolutely will look at the medications you're on. When they find out that he's been on medication for erectile dysfunction since he was 20 years old, that might be a disqualifier.
And then it ended. And I kind of walked out of there thinking, what the hell was that? You know, like what? How did I do? I don't even know. Like, is it this a thing? I was more intrigued than I had ever been, even growing up as a kid.
He's gonna have to. He's already impersonated the FBI in Pebble's case, and then misspelled numbers.
So I didn't know what was gonna happen. Didn't hear anything for a long time afterward until I was invited back. Second year, second summer. I think this one might have been a little longer. I don't know.
I have a story about this in case you guys don't know. I was with a program that had to do with you had to be like a top performer in your grade. Plus, you had to it had to do something with like you could be first generation, and this program probably had nothing to do with any three-letter agency. They're a legit program. I just think a three-letter agency farmed from this. This program, you had to be like it's like the top performers from our grade. It had to do something with like first generation college student. Like neither one of your parents had been to college. Which my sister later on went to college. So she was actually like went before me. She's older than me. But at the time she was still in school when I got in this program. And then as I went through that program, as that program progressed, we actually went to a separate program. And the other kids stayed in another program. And then I ended up leaving the program, trying to concentrate on football, trying to get a scholarship, trying to do that. And the guy the last two guys, me and this other guy, he ends up going to, we took these really weird evaluations of shit. It's just a whole story. But he ends up going to West Point and graduating there and becoming a secret squirrel. Like, that's what he did. And I'm almost positive that this group that I was in was real. And it's a real thing. And I knew other people that were in it. But I'm almost positive they were farming for some type of three-letter agency or military intelligence or something like that.
Necessarily remember, but
it's incredibly hard to get into West Point. And his family didn't have any connections, no senators, no congressmen, no fucking former presidents or vice president. Like, he got in, and it was all through this program that we were in.
Apparently, after arriving to that second year session, I did pretty well the first year.
Okay.
And we didn't know about that
till
the second year. The second year is when everything changed. The second year was not
everything.
The first year was more of what I would like to describe as a screening.
This is when he was in the cafeteria and he heard some CIA parents, joking about setting up 9/11.
Process to see if we even belonged there, to see if we had anything at all like they were looking for. The second year, we didn't see anyone that was first year recruits. We were only put with second year recruits. And we were bunked with them, two to a bunk. And when I say bunk, that's what we called it, but it was really a room with two beds on opposite sides of the room, one doorway to exit, a window that you could see out of, but not into.
Okay. Secret one-way mirror.
For college. The second year, which I believe was 8 or 9 weeks, we were roomed with people who scored similarly in the previous year of evaluation, so that their thought and philosophy was that if we put these minds together, they may make each other better, if that makes sense. They didn't want to waste a great mind on, a not so developed mind that may not come to anything anyway. So they met the threshold of being brought back for the second year, but they didn't necessarily think that person might go anywhere. They didn't want to put someone at the top of the class with someone at the below because they didn't think that was going to make any sort of significant, rise in ability. So I was roomed with an individual who, I don't say any of this in a bragatory sense because I don't necessarily like this portion of my life.
No, the name of the first group that I got, the first little thing, it was called Talent Search, and it's a thing. And it's Talent Search, and it's about top performing students and going to college, getting ready for college, blah, blah, blah. And the second part, though, of it that only a few of us went to, some people stayed in that Talent Search thing, and they did it all the way through high school. But when they split us up, it was just called Future Progress Limited. That was it. That was the name of the thing. And it was still about, like, what are you going to do with your life in college? And it was a bunch of aptitude tests, personality tests, like psych eval stuff. Like it was really weird shit. But he ended up going to fucking West Point somehow. And I ended up being the fucking retard who was trying to play football.
But apparently, in the first year, I scored in the top of the recruit class for whatever criteria they were looking for. They never really told us what the criteria was. That's another thing. It's not like we got a score report and said, oh, well, in this area you did well, in this area you did well, in this area you did okay, in this area you did. It's not like that. We were just told how we ranked based on their evaluation. We were never given what the evaluation criteria was. It's very, very, very strange. I know, but it was. It's how they operate, or how they operated. Apparently, I was evaluated at the top of that class. Apparently, the person that I was roomed with was second in that class.
Okay, so he was top, and the guy he was with was second.
And that's what they did. And they would pair up 3 with 4, or 3 with 5, 4 with 6, such. But 1 and 2 were together. I remember jokingly, because we all knew each other's ranks. That was not something that was kept secret. Jokingly, the other recruits would call me Valley. Not like...
Yeah, the TIPS program is talent identification or something like that.
It's in Valley, but Valley as in valedictorian, because apparently I was supposed to be... I don't know, apparently I was looked up to. I'm a kid, guys. I'm 16, 17 years old. Would call me Valley. Secret. I remember...
They would call it... His nickname was Valley. His nickname was Valley, which meant valedictorian of his CIA class. Not high school. He couldn't do that.
Jokingly, because we all knew each other's ranks. That was not something that was kept secret. I remember 3 with 5, 4 with 6, such. But 1 and 2 were together. I remember jokingly...
Imagine having ranks.
The person that I was roomed with was second in that class. And that's what they did. And they would pair up 3 with 4, or 3 with 5, 4 with 6, such. But 1 and 2 were together. I remember jokingly, because we all knew each other's ranks. That was not something that was kept secret. Jokingly, the other recruits would call me Valley. Not like, Peaks and Valley, but Valley as in valedictorian, because apparently I was supposed to be... I don't know, apparently I was looked up to. I'm a kid.
Apparently I was looked up to. I was Valley. They called me Valley. That was my nickname. Valley.
Guys, I'm 16, 17 years old. There was no designation of a valedictorian or a salutatorian or anything like that. It was just kind of like nicknames for each other, so to speak. My roommate was called number 2. It's that kind of thing.
He was called number 2? Hey, Valley and number 2, get over here. Oh, shit. I just thought of something. Sorry, I'm looking at something. I was given an award a long time ago, and I'm kind of wondering, I wonder if that was ever published anywhere. I know I still got the award. Mariah 3-hole punched it and put it in my binder, but...
the term Mr. Irrelevant that they use in the NFL.
The bondage in the office.
For the, I know this, obviously it's front of conversation now because Brock Purdy leading 49ers to.
I was given the Drapier Armor Leadership Award for being basically like the top of my class. And I was like platoon guide and shit in basic training. Or during OSA. It's like it's an award they don't give out all the time. Like it's not like you have one like every year or every cycle. It's held back for whatever. And I was just seeing if they ever published the thing. Like was it in the like the Post news segment, or I can't find it. So I got the award over there somewhere.
Be a juggernaut are that's in front of everybody's mind. I'm told that was it's called number 2. It's that kind of thing.
Number 2.
I'm told that the term Mr. Irrelevant that they use in the NFL for the, I know this, obviously it's front of conversation now because Brock Purdy leading 49ers to be a juggernaut are that's in front of everybody's mind, and he was drafted last in the NFL draft, and they call that person who gets drafted last in the NFL draft Mr. Irrelevant. So the last rank in our recruitment class, we called him irrelevant. He didn't like that too much, but he got used to it.
Okay, so we had Valley, number 2, and Irrelevance.
That second year was different. The second year we trained much differently. They were now trying to evaluate and determine, number 1, if we were going to be hired, and number 2, what area we would be in if we were hired. Is it a desk job? Is it an agent in the field? Is it cyber? Is it computer? What is it? So status back. Okay.
Now, again, he has to do this probably 10 times per show. He has to do this probably 10 times per show. But it's a simple setting in Streamlabs that all he has to do is change it. The simple setting in Streamlabs, all he has to do is change it. He just doesn't want to. He actually has no idea what it is. It has to do with USB bandwidth capacity and it timing out his microphone. Trust me, I went through it before. But I figured it out in like 2 days. Phil hasn't figured it out in 2 years. He had a $2,000 microphone and board, the most expensive one money could buy, and he told people to shut up if they didn't like the audio. Then he replaced that with a $350 microphone. And that was supposed to fix it. Then it was a settings.
Are we there? Locals? The training got more intense as...
Phil's going to make it seem like there's no possible way that this can be proven. You can't... Somebody just got to tell you they're in the CIA. They can't... Absolutely, this can be proven. Phil could prove it.
1 week felt like a month. 1 month felt like a year. And we were there a solid 8 or 9 weeks, from what I remember. Became very close to my roommate. Very close. Best friends wouldn't even be... Would be the largest understatement anyone could ever make when referring to...
So spend 8 weeks for somebody and you're fucking twin flames butt fucking each other. Like, I know my roommate from basic. He was actually my bunk mate because we didn't have open bunks like a lot of basic trainings do. We actually had, what do they call them? They were rooms. But it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It had 8 bunks in each room, or six bunches in each room, and wall lockers. And then there was like another room with 6, another room with 6, another room with 6. So I remember my bunk mate. He was my battle.
A relationship with, between two friends. The trust in one another, the confiding in one another, the level that we were both on intellectually, and what we wanted out of the rest of our life.
But we don't have this fucking relationship. We trained to fucking fight together. And feels like we knew we were finishing each other's sentences. I could literally taste my dick on his mouth.
Where that life would lead to. We were just so close.
This best friend was not at any of his weddings, has never showed up, has never supported him in any way, shape, and form, and publicly denies even knowing the motherfucker. So there's that.
To the point where even after this next session was over, we stayed very close afterwards. Him coming to Pennsylvania, me going to Connecticut several times.
somebody posted my video of Phil dancing to the locomotion or whatever, and where I said he sucks dick, and the guy says, as one of the part of the homosexual population, I didn't know that he was so. I think they said light on his feet or something like that. Basically, they called him gay too.
It was towards the last week, maybe the last 2 weeks of the second session, which would have been the summer of my soon-to-be senior year. I was a junior at this point, going into my senior year, and the second session was over the summer. So it was towards the end of that summer, probably late July, maybe early August-ish, plus or minus, I don't remember exactly. But myself and two, let me digress. The complex that we were at in the second year was much more like a military training camp, except it wasn't military, but it resembled what a
He's got to stick that wasn't military in there.
Military training camp would look like. There would be a mess hall, so to speak.
Okay,
this campus was a lot closer to the actual CIA campus in Langley. It's funny, they never actually gave us exact directions or coordinates of where this place was. We were always taken there from the airport, taken there, and we were not able to know exactly where we were, but it was understood that we were much closer to Langley than we were the year prior. So when we were in a recreational setting, such as lunch, dinner, yard, we would be able to bump elbows with some of the agents who were actually active CIA.
Okay.
Many of the recruits who were in our class were related to current agents, and they were trying to come up through the ranks, probably being pushed there by their parents or grandfathered in, or legacy, so to speak.
By the way, his parents, his own fucking parents, don't remember this 6 or 8 week CIA summer camp he went to. They had no idea this happened. He played baseball in the summer. No, he was a secret agent, Mom.
Yeah, it was the farm. You guys are smart. I wasn't going to say that, but you guys are on it over here, so I might as well just admit to it since I'm into everything else tonight. The time that we had outside of classes was being able to converse freely with other people who represented themselves as active agents, either in the field or on the desk. And I think what they tried to do was push the people who they thought were going to be in the field towards those people, and thought were going to be on a desk towards those people. I think they tried to put us down a path that way, so we would see them in crossing. They would try to strike up a conversation. They knew who we were. I digress again here a little bit because I forgot to mention something. We didn't go by our names, our actual names. That was a no-no. The actual names on our birth certificates were not ever known by anyone else in the complex. So not the recruitment class, not the agents who we would brush elbows with. It's my understanding that the instructors and the staff knew our names, but we were never referred to those names, ever. We were given aliases. Mine was Mark.
Okay. Let me explain something to you. Bill's too dumb to know this. This is going to be one of his first big mistakes. Okay? Langley is in McLean. In Fairfax County, Virginia. Okay? Langley is in McLean in Fairfax County, Virginia. Now, a lot of times Langley is just used for the CIA headquarters because it's a small unincorporated community, right? Langley's like a small community. It's unincorporated. McLean is probably the biggest town to it, and it's in Fairfax County, Virginia. The farm, as he wants to call it, the farm is Camp Harry. It is the CIA farm, and it is in York County near Williamsburg. They're not the same place. They're not even the same place. The farm is nowhere near Langley. Hold on. They're over 2 hours away. I know exactly where the farm is. It's in Camp Perry, Virginia. It's outside of Newport News. It's probably the biggest town you've heard of near it. Yorktown, Jamestown, all those places. Langley is just outside of Washington, D.C. It's over 2 fucking hours away. Camp Perry's near West Point. So he says he was taken there straight from the airport, but it's Langley. It's Langley. Oh, the chat figured out it's the farm. Yes, the farm. It can't be Langley and the farm. They're 2 fucking hours away. Google the farm CIA. I'll Google it for you. The farm CIA, Wikipedia. Camp Perry is approximately 9,000 acres, a U.S. military reservation in York County near Williamsburg, Virginia. Officially referred to as the Armed Forces Experimental Training Activity Center, FETA. Under the authority of the Department of Defense, Camp Perry hosts a covert CIA training facility known as the Farm, which is used to train officers of the CIA's Directorate of Operations, as well as those of the DIA's, Defense Clandestine Service, among other intelligence entities. Its facilities are also available to the membership and intelligence community for off-site activities such as conferences and working groups. Camp Perry has a sister facility called The Point, which is in Hertford in North Carolina. All Phil had to do was Google this.
GLG20 just resubscribed for 15 months.
It's not near the West Point Academy. I was naming towns here and areas. Right there's West Point, Port Richmond. All Phil had to do was Google this. But as soon as his chat says, he was at the farm, he's like, yep, you're right. I was at Langley at the farm, 2 fucking hours away. Two fucking hours away. Uh-oh, Phil. Turns out DuckDuckGo could be your friend.
Not saying they would try to strike up either.
Now let's listen to it again.
Converse freely with other people who represented themselves as active agents, either in the field or on the desk. And I think what they're on it over here, so I might as well just admit to it since I'm in everything else tonight. It was the farm. And it was understood that we were speak. This campus was a lot closer to the actual CIA campus in Langley.
This campus was a lot closer to the actual CIA campus in Langley.
It's funny, they never actually gave us exact directions or coordinates of where this place was. We were always taken there from the airport, and we were not able to know exactly where we were, but it was understood that we were much closer to Langley than we were the year prior.
Incoming dono clip.
2 hours away, but they were sharing. I'll grab that in just a second. Thank you for the resubscription, by the way. Oh, $100 dono clip. Thank you. He was a lot closer and was having lunch with agents from Langley. 2 fucking hours away. He wasn't having lunch with no agents working at Langley.
When we were in a recreational setting, such as lunch, dinner, yard.
The yard. He was at prison. He's trying to say he was in when we had yard time. We were out in the yard. Thank you very much for the dono clip. Here it is.
Hey, Will, it's me.
Oh, my God.
I was just
Those
out
curls.
illegal abalone diving out here in California, and here's your cut of my take. Yeah!
Illegal abalone diving, and he sent my cut. That sounds like a criminal conspiracy. Thank you for finger pointing me there. I appreciate it. Now we can both go down for the abalone. I appreciate that.
We would be
damn. Thank you, more.
able to bump elbows with some of the agents who were actually active CIA. Many of the recruits who were in our class were related to current agents, and they were trying to come up through the ranks, probably being pushed there by their parents or grandfathered in, or legacy, so to speak.
Legacy CIA.
Farm. You guys are smart.
Yeah, it was a farm. You guys are smart. Except I was over 2 hours away from Langley if I would have been at the farm. I'd have been over 2 fucking hours away. He could have at least said Quantico. You guys are smart. You figured it out. I guess I'm going to admit that I was 2 hours away, and we would commute an hour each to go to lunch. We'd meet in the middle without leaving.
I wasn't going to say that, but you guys are on it over here, so I might as well just admit to it since I'm into everything else tonight. The time that we had outside of classes was being able to converse freely with other people who represented themselves as active agents.
This would absolutely never happen, okay? There's another mistake in here we're going to talk about. There is no way that if you're attempting to join the CIA, there is no way that you're going to meet anybody else from the CIA besides a recruitment officer. Look at all the liability. These are kids, apparently, who have not joined any of this, but somehow they're meeting fucking field agents. They're just fucking burning covers left and right. Hey, this is Joe Smith. He's a field agent. Why don't you have lunch with him? Take a picture, a selfie. Fucking retards.
Either in the field or on the desk. And I think what they tried to do was push the people who they thought were going to be in the field towards those people and thought were going to be on the desk towards those people. I think they tried to put us down a path that way so we would see them in crossing. They would try to strike up a conversation. They knew who we were. I digress again here a little bit because I forgot to mention something. We didn't go by our names, our actual names.
Okay.
That was
I was Valley. And number two. Hold on just a second. What is that from? Scrubs, right? This was Phil and his roommate.
Oh, this will be fun. JD, I would like you to meet JD.
How's it going, man? Make him leave. Are you bummed out that we have the same name? Oh, don't worry about it, man. I'll tell you what, you're a little bit older than I am, so you were JD first. So how about you'll be JD number 1, and I'll just...
Number 2 just resubscribed for 4 months.
There's number 2 in the chat.
For the record.
No, you're Phil's roommate. His bunk mate.
Be JD number 2. How about that? Hey, number 2. Hey, number 1. So, I got one more patient. Do you want to have lunch in 10 minutes and you can bring my clipboard?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, number 2. Number 1.
This is Phil and his friend.
Hey, number 2. Number 1. Hey, number one.
Hey, Bambi.
Hey, number 2.
The actual names on our birth certificates were not ever known by anyone else in the complex. So not the recruitment class.
This doesn't happen. This absolutely doesn't happen. You join with your government name. You serve on your government name. Unless you're given, even the people that are going into tech, like he just said, they serve completely under their government name. You're not given a fucking alias to be a fucking text message reader.
Not the agents who we would brush elbows with. It's my understanding that the instructors and the staff knew our names, but we were never referred to those names, ever. We were given aliases. Mine was Mark.
Mark Poole. Mark Poole, everybody. Now we know.
I was like a ninja.
He was like a ninja.
My roommate was Wheeler. Quickly stopped calling him Wheeler because everyone else called him 2. So we just went with 2.
We just went with 2. We always called him number 2, not Wheeler. We were literally given aliases to use, but we just said, fuck them. We do what we want. I'm Valley. He's number 2.
Regardless, towards the last couple weeks of this second recruitment or training, whatever you want to call it, we, as a group, started hearing something. And it made no sense. It was, I'll try to give you an example of how I felt and how a lot of us felt in hearing such a thing. It was almost like hearing someone tell you your mother, who you actually know gave birth to you, she's your mother, she is a female, was never really a female. Well, then where did I come from? How was I born? Who is my mom? That has to be my mom. I know it's my mom because, wait a minute, what do you mean she's not female? You know what I mean? Like your mind would just go in all these different directions. Like, what is happening, right?
This is another one of his patent analogies.
So we started hearing this, and it wasn't just once. It wasn't just this once, this one thing where we heard it and we dismissed it. It was multiple times. And it just made no sense. And what we heard was that the CIA is going to be responsible for an upcoming terrorist attack on the United States on U.S. soil.
Because that's what we discuss at the lunch table with recruits. Teenage recruits. Hey guys, I know you guys just got here, probably brand new, trying to fit in. You've only been part of the CIA training program for 6 weeks. We're going to do a terrorist attack on the U.S. and blame it on somebody else. Have a good school year.
And thousands would die. My mother's not my mother. What do you mean? It's almost like the CIA would be responsible for an attack on U.S. soil? What are you talking about? I can't even, there's no
white or wheat, motherfucker.
Flow of
toasted or baked
mind power that actually doesn't make any sense. You know?
Every government agency, every 3-letter agency, every military branch is all based on need to know. Somebody explain to me how a teenager who's in some type of CIA summer camp and may or may not end up working for the CIA would need to know about a secret terrorist attack that they were going to try to convince the whole world was done by some people from the Middle East.
But it was said over and over again, and some of the recruits that were repeating it more than others were those recruits that were related to a family member who was already in the agency.
Okay.
So camp ended. The agency now had to make a static.
Simple. It's a simple settings in Streamlabs. I could change it, but I don't want to. I'd rather unplug my mic 10 times a stream.
Locals? Good. The agency now had to make a decision about all of us, whether or not they wanted us to extend an invitation to actually work and be employed. And that extension would come over the next year, before the next summer after we completed. So it would have been the summer of 2002, by the summer of 2002, when I would have been extended an invitation to work at the agency. So we ended up splitting camp sometime in August, right before high school started back up. That would have been my senior year. And then 9/11 happened.
Wrong. Let me tell you where he messed up. Okay.
Incoming dono clip.
Phil, thank you very much again. Thank you for that. Phil said he started when he was 15 or 16. First year. The next year for summer camp, he would have been 16 turning 17. 9/11 happened when Phil was already 18. Phil was already fucking 8. He missed the whole goddamn thing by a year. Either he's lying about when he started. I can't believe he can't remember if he was 15 or 16. Or he's lying about when he found out this information. But the timeline doesn't add up. He's off by at least a year, maybe 2. Let me play this dono clip. Is this more about abalone?
Well, Bert, this is Ramesh.
Okay.
I love how Phil wears the goddamn jerseys like he's a player's wives. Like he sits in the box.
Like he's on Desperate Housewives of the NFL? You think he's a player's wife? He could be. You never know. Never can tell, to be honest with you. Thank you very much for the donation.
9/11 happened in September 2001. I completed the second phase of training, recruitment, analysis in August of 2001. I graduated high school in June of 2002. As soon as I saw, you might be able to talk to some of my old high school classmates about this, but I was in class, obviously, when it happened. You might be able to talk to some of my old... As soon as I saw, in June of 2000, I completed the second phase of training, recruitment, analysis in August of 2001. I graduated high school in June of 2002. As soon as I saw...
Or he graduated when he was 19 or getting ready to turn 19. Did he fail a year? Is that how smart he was?
You might be able to talk to some of my old high school classmates about this, but I was in class, obviously, when it happened. And all of our teachers ended up turning on the televisions in the classroom, and some classes even grouped into other classes to watch the towers as they burned and eventually fell.
This is when he started making DVDs.
All my classmates, I remember one classmate, his name was Jared, and a couple other smart classmates were watching saying, well, this is definitely bin Laden. You know, bin Laden's the high-ranking terrorist, most wanted, you know.
Oh, Jared said this has definitely bin Laden. He knew it was bin Laden while the towers were falling. Jared did, because Jared knew about all the terrorists that we had never heard of until days after the terrorist attack.
FBI, whatever, has his fingerprints all. I remember him saying that, and a couple other classmates agreeing with him and having a discussion about that, and I just sat there staring at that television, recollecting everything that I...
Yes, Ezra Cohen Watnick is almost a full 3 years. He is like 1 month from being 3 years younger than him.
Heard in the months prior, and at that television, prints all. I remember the high-ranking terrorist smart classmates. All my classmates, I remember one classmate, his name was Jared, and a couple other smart classmates were watching saying, well, this is definitely bin Laden. You know, bin Laden's the high-ranking terrorist, most wanted, you know, FBI, whatever, has his fingerprints all. I remember him saying that, and a couple other classmates agreeing with him and having a discussion about that, and I just sat there staring at that television, recollecting everything that I had heard in the months prior, and I knew immediately.
So, not even George fucking Bush, not even George Bush knew that it was bin Laden until 12 hours after the attack at 9:30 p.m. On September 11, 2001, George Tenet, director of the CIA, told George W. Bush, and U.S. senior official, that CIA's Counterterrorism Center had determined that Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda were responsible for the September 11th attack. Two weeks after that, the FBI connected the hijackers to al-Qaeda, a militant Salafist Islamic multinational organization, and a number of video, audio, interview, printed statements. Senior members of al-Qaeda have also asserted responsibility for organizing the attack. So most of us knew George Bush knew that night. Most of us knew within 2 weeks. The FBI confirmed it. Phil's classmate Jared knew it was Osama bin Laden while watching the buildings fall in school that day. The fuck is Jared? You probably need to find out who the fuck he is. If he knew while the buildings are falling, like, oh, that's my buddy Osama. Yeah, me and him were talking through fucking the Signal app, and he's like, hey, what'd you think about those fucking Twin Towers? I fucking hate them, man.
I didn't know how, but I knew. It's like staring yourself in the mirror, you know it's you. It's like when I was looking at that television, I felt like I was staring into a mirror, and I knew it was me. I knew exactly what had happened. And I remember there was a point in class where everybody kept talking about terrorists and Muslims and Arabs, that the media already started to go there within hours. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but within hours it was already being blamed on not only bin Laden, but an actual country, which had zero to do with it. Zero. And I just saw my worst fears all coming together. This is the reason why, this is what I wanted to stop. This is the reason why I've always had an interest in this since a young kid.
Now, at the time, most people didn't know what Al Jazeera was, but that evening, on the same day of September 11th, well, I don't know because it was local time. That night, Al Jazeera played a tape saying it was Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda claiming that they were responsible for the attack. Maybe Jared was there.
You know, it was always my passion to be that secret agent, secret squirrel, like Will calls me, right? I always loved it. I always wanted to do it. And now I'm looking at people jumping.
What Will calls you. I'm telling you, if you've ever hung around SF, CIA, NSA, any type of field operations, everybody knows the word secret squirrel. Do you think I made that up, you fucking retard? That just shows how bullshit your fucking story is. We literally used to do that to identify people. Like, oh, that's the secret squirrel compound. Oh, we're going to go hang out with the secret squirrels. Like, or I got guard duty at the compound for the secret squirrels. Like, it's well known in the community. I didn't make it up, you fucking retard.
From the buildings and splatting on the ground for fear of, they just couldn't handle the fear, so they jumped.
It's not they couldn't handle the fear. They were dying. It had nothing to do with fear. They were either being burned alive or smoke inhalation.
And I just remember I felt so responsible. Not that I had anything to do with it, but how could this entity, who I credited with being the white hat entity for the world, not just for the country, but for the world.
Oh, you know they fucking sat around like, oh, how much is in the bank? Oh, we just bought our 15th house, and laughing like hell. Laughing like hell at his following. It's always these hopium dealers that make all the fucking money. Anybody telling the truth, anybody calling them out, they're trying to divide. They're evil. I would never fucking want blah blah. We gotta believe, because these old people with money, apparently, and some of them don't have money. They're using their Social Security checks and shit to donate. But still, they just fucking eat this hopium up, man.
My dreams got crushed that day. Crushed. Everything I thought was good actually ended up being bad. I didn't know what was good. Is anything good?
So when you heard them say they were going to carry out a terrorist attack and kill thousands of Americans, they were still the good guy. But when they did it, dreams crushed. everything good is bad and bad is good. I'm going to take them down.
If we can't trust the CIA, the intelligence agency of our country, who do you trust? Everything that my entire world crashed that day. All of my hopes, all of my dreams, all of my ambitions, everything disintegrated.
Then he went to Harvard.
Team, my high school baseball team, my junior year, we won league championship, district championship. We made a run at states. We got a couple games into the state finals. And my senior year, we were better.
Oh, you don't have a state championship ring, Phil? Must suck to be Phil.
We were better than our junior year. I came back, one of our pitchers came back with me, and we were loaded. And I could not concentrate in the entire season. I ended up winning player of the year, but my team struggled. We didn't even win a district championship, and it's my fault because I couldn't get my mind off of what had happened, and it consumed me.
He ended up winning player of the year, but it's his fault his team couldn't even win a district championship his senior year.
Cost my team a state championship.
No, you didn't. You won a one state. You don't have it in you. Or you'd have a fucking ring on your finger, Phil. Like the rest of us. Real world winners.
I didn't know what to do. Then I got invited to work at CIA. I remember almost immediately, and I'm not saying that like in any broad way, I'm saying literally almost immediately after getting that invitation, Tu calls me and says he wants me to fly out to Connecticut. So I did. I flew. And met at his house. His house was always very mysterious to me. It seemed unlived in, but yet there were, you know, toothbrushes and dishes and food in the refrigerator, drinks.
Ezra Cohen Watnick grew up in Maryland, not Connecticut. Ezra Cohen Watnick grew up in Maryland, not Connecticut. He grew up in Chevy Chase, Maryland. His father was a lawyer and his mom was a doctor.
No family photos, though. You know, I noticed this before, but after 9/11 occurred, I started viewing things a lot differently than I had pre 9/11 because
he gets everything wrong. But his followers don't fucking care. They just like, give me more lies so I can send you more money.
I was tricked. I mean, I was tricked. I thought what was good was actually bad, and I didn't know anymore if the person that I was talking to who was...
And they'll make an excuse for everything. Oh, he had to change some details. Oh, he had to lie in court. Oh, there has to be a 2024 election, even though there wasn't going to be one since 2020.
My best friend in the world was good or bad. I didn't even know why I was there. But he had got invited as well, and he wanted to talk to me about that, so that was the premise that I flew there on. He had a sister. Beautiful, beautiful girl. I remember us sitting on his sprawling property. It had to be on 50 acres, I don't know, but it was a huge backyard, just overlooking. It seemed like he could view forever. And he had this big elaborate patio up the back overlooking this grand yard. And I remember us sitting out there that first day. We had to talk for 8 hours. He knew what I knew. And we discussed it, and...
He knew what I knew.
He had reasons that he had to move on. He had to go and he had to work there. And I did not have those reasons. However, I did acknowledge and recognize his reasons. I knew that he had to do it and he didn't have a choice.
Why? Because his lawyer dad made him? Or his doctor mom? You said it was because family, right? That's weird.
I had a choice. He tried his hardest to get me to continue. And he told me that someday I would be a high-ranking member of someone's administration, the White House administration.
Oh, sorry.
And he felt that, the agency was not something that was my top spot. And he felt that he and I would go up the ranks together, and we would work hard to change things from the inside. And because of the reasons that he had, the family reasons that he had, he needed to do this regardless of what I was to do. Flew back to Pennsylvania and we got static.
Just a simple setting, guys. Just a simple setting.
Locals. Flew back to Pennsylvania and gathered my thoughts and took.
I got a ring. Sister's got a ring. Our baseball team has 12. I think it's 12 now. 12 state championships. For our baseball's huge here where I live. 12 state championships. I got 9 uncles that all got rings on one of those teams.
Everything into consideration, and
before about 7 or 8 years ago. No, it's probably been like, damn, I'm getting old. It's probably been about 10, 12 years ago. Every state championship baseball team that we had, I had an uncle on.
I could not do it. I could not work for an entity that purposely murdered people, United States citizens, innocent people. You know, not a foreign group, Taliban, ISIS, you know, as it became known.
ISIS, as it became known? I don't think the Taliban became ISIS, Phil. I think you're getting your terrorist you knew so much about confused.
Fathers of children. The ramifications of that day still extend into today. You know, cancers, and they weren't what I thought, and it broke my heart. Broke my heart. That's all I ever wanted. I remember 2 came out and visited me in Pennsylvania that summer after I graduated, and he had already become, I believe it was the youngest CIA agent in the history of the agency to that point. Anyway, I don't think there's been any younger since. He had already become, I believe it was the youngest CIA agent in the history of the agency to that point. Anyway, I don't think there's been any younger since. So he went on in my life.
That's not true either. The CIA actually has a page on Barb. I think her name's Barb Robbins, or hold on, let me Google it. Okay. Barbara A. Robbins. Barbara A. Robbins joined the CIA 50 years ago this summer, but just 2 years later, in March of 1965, she was killed when terrorists bombed a U.S. embassy in South Vietnam. She was the first CIA female. She's the first female CIA officer to die in the line of duty, and she remains the youngest ever at just 21 years old.
Life became different. I didn't know what direction to go. I had enrolled in colleges and was accepted in multiple places, and I ended up going to school, and I never even went to class. I couldn't get my mind off entering the regular employment of society after I earned a degree, when one day I may just go into work and my building might collapse on my head because one of the United States major agencies decided so. Couldn't do it. I didn't know what to do. So then I got a call. A call that changed my life forever. It was from a different government entity that was not only aware of what had happened on September 11th, but were making moves to make those responsible for that day to be held to justice. And that was the National Security Agency. And suddenly, all of my...
Now the NSA calls them and says, we know the CIA did it. Can you come hang out with us?
All of my prior dreams that had been crushed, all of my prior ambitions seemed like they were within reach again. So through a very elaborate network, I begun my time. I left college at that point and started working missions on a private contractor level, so to speak, which then evolved into something greater. And the hope that I came in with...
This is just Edward Snowden's...
...was so...
Edward Snowden's story.
So high.
It's off by years, but here we go.
And I just had such high hopes. Oh, somebody just asked why my mom doesn't know about any of this. Someone just asked over there, why does your mom know? I don't know how you know my mom doesn't know. Oh, probably from deposition, but she doesn't.
Mom doesn't know? Your mom didn't notice you missing for 8 weeks for 2 summers in Virginia training. Your mom doesn't know that you were offered a job with the CIA and your life partner become a CIA agent. Your mom doesn't know that then the NSA called you and said, hey, you want to take down the CIA? Your mom doesn't know any of this? Why would the NSA... I've worked a contractor job that technically fell under... I don't want to confuse anybody. I've never worked for a 3-letter agency, but I've worked a contractor job, like Phil's describing, that worked for a 3-letter agency. So it's like a degree of separation, right? You know who didn't call me to get hired? The 3-letter agency. Why would the NSA call you for you to get hired with a contractor? Wouldn't it be better if the contractor called you? Or you applied? Weird.
Didn't know about any of this. I told you it was me, one other person only. Finally, I had found the place that I wanted to be, and I knew this was going to be my career. And when I joined, everything had been exactly how I had thought, working on various different algorithms, various different programs.
All of Phil's missions involved Chipotle mayonnaise or no? Oh, you're good? Lettuce? Red onions? Jalapenos?
And then Barack Obama became president. And everything changed.
Wait, no, Barack Obama didn't become president. You voted for Barack Obama twice. And you said he should have ran a 3rd time against Trump because he would have won. You voted for Barack Obama twice. He didn't become president. You voted for him.
And some technology that I was responsible for was starting to be used against the United States. And all that was going through my head was, here we go again. Barack Obama weaponized the NSA. And Bush started doing it, but Bush was stopped. And everything that Obama said on the campaign trail was that he was going to put a permanent stop to what was happening. And the exact opposite happened.
So Bush was stopped, but no one knew to look for the president weapon. So one president did it. They found it out and they stopped him. But then another president comes up and no one knows to look out for this. We might have another president that does this and we need to stop them. They're just like, no, he's probably good. Let's not check.
When he got in there, it accelerated so much that it was literally out of control. There were different huge companies involved, Verizon involved, Samsung. Obama weaponized projects that I was working on and my team was working on and used it against our country for the betterment of who?
He's never worked for any of these agencies. Not even as a contractor. He's testified to all this.
And that was the question. Who? Who keeps doing this? Who gave the order to the CIA for 9/11 in 2001? Who
can barely work a computer, also super hacker?
Why is Barack Obama? The whole world, in my estimation, was just, I wanted to do something with my life that affected enormous change on a large scale platform. So, in my early years of high school, I accepted an invitation to the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States.
No, he didn't. Yes, even though Barack Obama weaponized the NSA and took over his super hacker project to use it against U.S. citizens, he voted for him again.
I didn't really know much about the CIA. But what I did know, it was such an organization that matched what I was looking for. And short of going abroad and finding something else or somewhere else, figured we'd give this a try. So 2 summers, while I was in high school, I had attended a apprentice and training program for new recruits to the Central Intelligence Agency. Apparently back then, I don't know if they still do it the same way now, but...
Oh, did I back up a shit ton?
The whole world, in my estimation, was I wanted to do something with my life that affected. Didn't hear anything for a long time afterward.
Why does it keep going back?
Second year. The whole.
Why does it keep going back to that one spot?
Became very close to my roommate in Langley. The whole world.
I might have to refresh it. It keeps going back to that one fucking spot.
It's like staring yourself in the mirror.
See if we can do it now. If it'll play. Rumble's been kind of shit today, or the last couple days. Maybe it's not even going to play. Oh, I got an ad. Hold on. Trump bucks.
This trick will save you thousands of dollars on high energy bills.
This won't save you any money.
By gas shortages and high energy.
Work at the CIA. The whole.
Sorry, it keeps going back to that one fucking spot. I don't know why.
So he went on. The whole so that if anyone within the agency were to try to find my face, not only was it a scrub down and the whole. Who
you find Obama again?
Gave the order?
Oh, here it is.
The whole.
God damn it! It went back there again.
The whole.
Do I have a fucking key stuck? What's going on?
An intelligence agency against the American people. Because he can't be doing it for himself. What's the benefit there? What's the benefit if Obama weaponizes the CIA or the NSA or the FBI or whatever, the Department of Justice, any intelligence agency, whatever? Who's he answering to? I needed to do something. I couldn't. My world again for the second time had just completely shattered. So I told everyone about it. And before I did, for the second time, if Obama weaponizes the CIA, the whole world, the whole
doing it again.
The whole, but Bush was stopped.
Okay, I'm not gonna do anything.
Everything that Obama said on the campaign trail was that he was going to put a permanent stop to what was happening, and the exact opposite happened when he got in there.
And Phil voted for him again.
It accelerated so much that it was literally out of control. There were different huge companies involved, Verizon involved, Samsung. Obama weaponized projects that I was working on and my team was working on and used it against our country for the betterment of who? And that was the question. Who? Who keeps doing this? Who gave the order to the CIA for 9/11 in 2001? Why is Barack Obama using an intelligence agency against the American people? Because he can't be doing it for himself. What's the benefit there? What's the benefit if Obama weaponizes the CIA or the NSA or the FBI or whatever, even the Department of Justice, any intelligence agency, whatever? Who's he answering to? I needed to do something. I couldn't. My world again for the second time had just completely shattered. So I told everyone about it. And before I did, I consulted my best friend who had worked his way all the way up the ranks into various different positions throughout the years. And got me out of there. So that it was undetectable. It's like I never was even there. No video, no logs, no names. Completely scrubbed off the face of the earth like I never even stepped foot anywhere. Names, so that it was undetectable.
Sorry, I'm back.
My best friend, who had worked his way all the way up the ranks into various different positions throughout the years, again for the second time had just completely shattered. The FBI or whatever, even the Department of Justice, because he can't be doing it for himself. What's the benefit there? It's Barack Obama
I'm back.
Using an intelligence agency against the American people. Because he can't be doing it for himself. What's the benefit there? What's the benefit if Obama weaponizes the CIA or the NSA or the FBI or whatever, even the Department of Justice, any intelligence agency, whatever? Who's he answering to? I needed to do something. I couldn't. My world again for the second time had just completely shattered. So I told everyone about it. And before I did, I consulted my best friend who had worked his way all the way up the ranks into various different positions throughout the years. And got me out of there. So that it was undetectable. It's like I never was even there. No video, no logs, no names. Completely scrubbed off the face of the earth like I never even stepped foot.
That's why you can't find out that he was at CIA summer camp. Ezra Cohen Watnick removed all the data.
Anywhere. That's how high he had ranked in the years since. It was a...
Wait. in like 5 or 6 years, he could just delete everything?
Complete scrub down of anything that had anything to do with me. Not only was it a scrub down in a massive erasal of events that had actually occurred, but somewhere along the line, a fall guy was also introduced.
Okay.
And his name was Edward Snowden. There was a person who actually existed by this name. I was told he was the same age as me, of a similar build, of a similar facial characteristic, so that if anyone within the agency were to try to find my face, he was close enough at the time. Anyway, I look a little different now than I did back then, but it's pretty close. So if anyone were to look into this and they would try to figure out actually what happened, they would interview those that had worked with my persona and ask them questions about, and the name that they would give would be Mark. And when looking for that name in the log, it didn't exist.
Oh, okay.
And then of course,
deleted out of the log.
Planted to give disinformation to those that were, they would give a different name. So
I don't think he believes at all that he'll win his case. I don't think at all that that he thinks he'll lose followers if they read like the transcript of his depositions. He's just doing it now he's just using his case now for attention, and he's got to focus on securing his audience. That's where all his money comes from.
The government focused on, Edward Snowden, and they made up stories after that, and it exists till today. So, two wanted me to get, static.
Static.
Locals. Two wanted me to get back involved at this point, and I just couldn't. I was out. I was done. I had no faith in the world anymore. I had no faith in humanity. I had no faith in government. I had no faith in structure. I had no faith in. I just wanted to live. I just wanted to live the rest of my life, and I wanted to be left alone. And I just couldn't do it. I was done. I wanted to go pursue a family. I wanted to go have children. I wanted to be married. I wanted to get a mortgage. I wanted to have whatever. That's exactly what I did. Fast forward to 2017. I received a call. And that call is...
By the way, Barack Obama started as president on January 20th, 2009. According to police records, Phil was already fucking 15-year-olds at this time. So he was simultaneously... Now, Barack Obama couldn't have weaponized the NSA, took over his project, turned against the American people on day one. So simultaneously, while he was having this relationship with a 15-year-old girl who knew everywhere he was at, everything he was doing, has nude pictures of him, had all the text messages, all his fucking details, knew about the mole on his dick, he was actually working for the NSA as Edward Snowden.
Why I'm here today. Because I wouldn't be here today without that call. I got a call from two. And we had stayed in touch over the years, but it was sporadic, and he was very busy. He had risen all the way to the White House, just as he thought we would have if I had stayed. I went through some shit with some false accusations, and that was right after pretty much everything had gone down. And by the way, the timeline that you guys know of for the Edward Snowden whistleblower thing is all false. That happened before it was released by the press. That was just part.
That's not true, right? Edward Snowden didn't fucking whistleblow and nobody talked about it. Edward Snowden fled the country and met with reporters to distribute the information. How could he have done this years later when Phil already did this? Phil can't be a whistleblower because he secretly told somebody and it come out 3 years, 5 years later.
Part of the cover-up to create confusion and misinformation and disinformation. So again, we fast forward to sometime early, mid 2017, and
way to stay on topic, Yeezy fan. Fucking retard.
Two calls, and like I said, by this time he's high. He's high up there. Answering to just about nobody. And
Taylor Robertson 81 gifted $234 a subscription.
Thank you for the gifted sub.
Taylor Robertson 81 gifted a tier 1 sub to $234. They have given 8 gift subs in the channel.
Fuck your busted ass goddamn face. The fuck up out of here. Goddamn. Fucking retards here. Fucking legit retards. You should have known coming in the name of a fucking Yeezy fan. God damn. These people are real fucking winners. I hope I can smoke crack and sell paintings. Gotcha. Thank you for the gifted sub. I appreciate it.
I'll never forget. Now, at this time, in 2017, I'm 2 years into my real estate empire. I created a real estate company. I had 50 agents working for me. We were number 2 in just a short couple years. We rose to number 2 in the entire area. By the way, it was called The Agency, just because I never wanted to forget.
It was called The Agency. I never forget that.
For a couple years, we rose to number 2 in the entire my real estate empire. I created a real estate company.
But this entire time that he claims he worked with the NSA, he was a baseball coach before that. He was working for the NSA at one of their offices as a super hacker and also a baseball coach in his hometown working at Subway and a gas station. He cannot make these align. Barack Obama started as president in 2009. He was a baseball coach. He was a Subway sandwich artist. He was already a real estate agent. How is he doing this while working at the NSA headquarters?
I had 50 agents working for me. We were number 2 in just a short couple years. We rose to number 2 in the entire area. By the way, it was called The Agency, just because I never wanted to forget.
It was called The Agency because it's a real estate agency, you fucking retard.
I never wanted to forget either of those agencies and what they stood for. But I was in the middle of it. So, I have a real estate company, I have a mortgage company, I have a title company, I have a real estate school, I have a wife, I have a 2-year-old.
If you haven't seen like these, is it the movie called Snowden, right? Isn't that the name of it, the movie? It's actually really good. I think he even said on one of the meetings that the Rubik's Cube part was even fucking true. But he meets with agents, or he meets with media personalities overseas as soon as he leaves and gives them all the information, testifies that the timeline can't be changed for that. So Phil's claim is that he did the Edward Snowden stuff. So that means that he fled the country in like 2009 or met with reporters in 2009, released all this information, right? Released every bit of this information. And then they just happened to wait till, 2013? So they just waited 4 years to publish any of it. That's what happened.
I have a newborn at home. So the timing for this was incredibly awful. So I get the call from 2 and I knew it was him. He didn't have to, there were no hellos. I answered. I'm like, hey. And
they didn't even say hello. They said, hey. There were no hellos. I answered the phone and said, hey. There were no hellos.
I remember the exact words he said to me. He said, we got them. And I paused. I literally said nothing for probably 60 seconds. Dead silence on that phone call. That's all he said was we got them. And I paused. And I knew in that 60 seconds I had ascertained exactly what he was talking about. And I responded with only these words. What do you need me to do?
In the court, he said he felt political and social pressure that he believed that the mission that he needed to do for the United States to make our country great again was make a YouTube channel. And no one told him to do that. No one directed him. No one asked him. But now Ezra is going to be like, we need you. We're calling you in, buddy.
He said, we'll be in touch. They were in touch.
They were in touch when they were in camp together, playing doctor, playing fucking hide the pickle.
Described a massive, plan that was so extravagant and so many pieces and so many people and so many things had to go right but we had the right people to make sure that they went right. And I met some of those people, and strategy was discussed, and different players had different jobs to do. And mine was to find the platform to leak government intel about corruption.
Now, he lies about this under oath. Again, his only goal was he believed he needed to make a successful YouTube channel to spread the word. Now he had to find a platform. He had to be Q. He had to go post on the boards.
And about what was happening to our children, and about what was happening to... This is my children calling me. I'm just going to grab this real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay. The whole... Just everyday language. It's part of your vocabulary. Was this as to why
God damn it, it went back again.
World, in my estimation, was a world government that
I fucking hate this shit,
including the United States.
I don't know why it keeps going back to that one spot.
Test audio.
Static.
Audio good. Test. I don't know what happened to the camera here. It's fine for it.
I know you love hide the pickle, Mariah, but it's always your ass. Why is it always your ass?
Static, of course. Okay. Locals. Okay.
He couldn't testify to any of this because NDA, but now he can do it all together.
It's the largest audience I've ever had on a live stream. About 31,264,000 right now.
31,264,000. By the way, Dan Bongino did a show the other day, and he was talking about how Rumble was like messing up, and he announced that he had like 100,000 and some live viewers, and said that he was the largest stream on Rumble with the most live viewers. I guess he doesn't know that Phil beat him by 300 times.
So
somebody put pickles and peaches in the chat. I loves it.
That's cool. So those years before I got...
He even sets like he fucking sucks dick. Who hops up in what grown-ass man hops up in an office chair and crosses their legs? No fucking way.
They were difficult because I knew what Obama was doing. I knew there was a world government that ruled all, including the United States. And I knew that it had been happening for a very long time, way before I got involved with anything at all.
He cannot make this timeline work. He can't. Not with the time he worked at Subway, not with the time he worked at the gas station, not with the time he was the coach, not with the time Obama became president, not that he voted for him twice. He can't make it work. My mom didn't know about this.
Hey, guys, listen.
You think I could hide from my parents if I disappeared for 4 fucking years and joined the military, went overseas? You think I could hide that from my parents? Just be like, I travel a lot.
You don't have to believe me. You know, it's fine. I understand this is a hard story to tackle and to take on. I'm not trying to make anybody believe me. There's a reason why I'm saying all this tonight, which we'll get to at the end. But it's not your job to convince other people that I'm lying. If you think I'm lying, you just don't watch me. That's all. That's how easy it is.
No, it is your job. It should be your job. We do our own research. We make our own claims. We verify all this. Phil will have you challenge every bit of information unless it's about him. Even his misinformation, you can't challenge it.
And let other people decide for themselves. You know, that's how it should go. So I don't think you have any... First of all, you have no ability, which you should have learned for the last 3 years now, but you have no right to try to influence...
You have no ability. You should have learned.
...opinion about me or about anything. Because if you think about it, you acting that way is exactly what the mainstream media does today. They're trying to influence everyone's opinion about lies, right? So if you're on our side and you just don't like me because you think I'm a liar, that's fine. I get that. But you acting the way that you are, trying to convince all of these other people who may or may not believe me. Let's say that they do. Right? And let's say I'm successful in doing what I've been doing because that they do like me, right? And they do believe me and they do trust me. You have no right to try to convince them that their thoughts are wrong. You don't think for them. That's what the mainstream media does. They put an agenda on their programming.
That's what you do. You just try to convince people about Obama or anybody else.
Patio 728 to subscription.
Thank you for the gifted sub.
_Banana gifted a tier 1 sub to Patio72.
And they try to think for everybody else. That is what you're doing by going over here saying
gift subs in the channel.
Thank you.
Liar, 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 liar. First of all, no one gives a shit what you say. Second of all, you're doing what the other side does. So if you actually are the other side, well, we know what you're doing. If you're not, and you claim to be MAGA, and you claim to be Trump supporter, and Q follower, or whatever, you are acting how the other side acts. Isn't that ironic to you? I got news for you. You sitting over there, you have no idea if I'm telling the truth or not. Me not telling the truth and being a liar like you constantly keep saying, you know that's true, just like you know it's not true. You have no evidence to support anything like that at all. Nothing. And you will never have anything because something like that doesn't exist. So
you have literally no evidence that shows that it does exist. Show one fucking pay stub, Phil.
I just wanted to say that. I know I'm not getting involved too much over here, but regardless, let me get back into it. My life for those years prior to getting the call from two that we got on call was just so confusing because I knew something existed and something ruled over all of us, and none of us were aware of it, except a very, very small group of people. And those people couldn't do anything about it because then if you saw those that are in highest office, from the Supreme Court to the presidency to congressional members, even CEOs of large corporations, there was no way. To the presidency to congressional members, over to the presidency and to congressional members.
Stop it.
There was nothing anyone could do, and that's how my years went leading up to that call. And it was scary to me. I considered not having children. In fact, I didn't have children until I was 32, 33 years old. And then I get the call, and the words are, we got him. And I knew. I was asked to do several things. I was asked to find the platform, secure the platform, use my expertise that I had built in the past to create an undetectable.
Now, he couldn't admit to any of this in court because NDAs, but he does this whole live stream about him.
And when I say undetectable, not undetectable for, a couple brief little hacking expeditions, undetectable forever. That's a tall task. So in other words, this platform.
That's exactly right. You're so right to question everything but him. He will ban and block you in a second for legit questions while telling you to question that Joe Biden even exists. That's exactly right.
Should be some sort of posting.
He's got a video clip out there where he says, "Don't ever question my intel. Ever."
Platform, some sort of communication device was going to be used by the Q team to communicate with the general public. And the concept was that other social...
Remember when he said it would be 3 to 6 months for everybody to have a Q phone, and he had one but couldn't show it to you?
Yeah, outlets, such as the most popular obviously being Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, were already controlled by this group that we were trying to take down, by the opposition. So going to them and trying to drum up a support campaign for the truth wasn't going to work because we would just be deplatformed. So we needed to find something, I in particular, needed to find something that was not going to follow those same rules. And that's when I found 4chan. 4chan was the perfect platform. Security-wise, it was very easy to encrypt. And when I say encrypt, we're talking about, we have to disguise who's posting from everyone in the world, the greatest hacking groups in the world. We can never be found. Who's making these posts can never be found. Where they're logging in from needs to be untraceable forever. Not just for while the post exists, but forever.
The only time there would be a stamp of who the person is, where they posted from, the IP address, would be when they made the post. It's not forever. You only have to do it once when they post. You can't reopen that connection and be like, where are they now?
That's what I did. Took several months. That call from 2 was probably, I never referred to him as 2 until tonight. I think you guys know that.
There's been lots of people busted on 4chan, right? The FBI has several cases. Actually, let's go here, see if we can find them. The only reason that these are called anonymous sites is because you can post anonymously without having a username or having to make an account. You don't make an account at all. They are not anonymous like from the government and shit, unless they're using a VPN or whatever, which they could be. And that would be the take of it, right? You'd have to use a VPN. Hold on just a second. I'll see if I can find this. there's been a bunch of people from 4chan that have been tracked down for child porn. On October 18, 2006, Department of Homeland Security National Football League officials, Miami, New York City, Atlanta, Seattle, Houston, Oakland, and Cleveland, about a possible threat involving simultaneous use of dirty bombs in stadiums. The threat claimed the attack would be carried out on October 22nd, the final day of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Both FBI and Department of Homeland Security expressed doubt concerning the credibility, blah, blah, blah. The threat turned out to be a conceived hoax perpetrated by a grocery store clerk in Wisconsin with no terrorist ties. The FBI considered it a clearly frivolous threat, and the 20-year-old man was charged with fabricating terrorist threats, sentenced to 6 months in prison, followed by 6 months of house arrest, ordered to pay $26,750 in restitution. He was busted on 4chan. Around midnight on September 11, 2007, a student posted photographs of mock pipe bombs and another photograph of him holding them while saying he would blow up his high school in Pflugerville Texas, at 9:11 a.m. on September 11th. Users of 4chan reported this post. He was tracked down, blah, blah, blah. 20-year-old from Melbourne, Australia, was arrested on December 8, 2007, and apparently posting at 4chan that he was going to shoot and kill as many people as it can, until which time I am incapacitated or killed by the police. The post, accompanied by an image of another man holding a shotgun, threatened a shopping mall near Beverly Hills. While the investigation is still open, he was charged with criminal defamation for a separate incident, but he died before the case was heard. On February 4th, 2009, a posting on the 4chan B board said there would be a school shooting at St. Eskil's Gymnasium in Eskilstuna, Sweden, leading 1,250 students and 50 teachers to be evacuated. A 20-year-old man was arrested after 4chan provided the IP address of the poster. Police said the suspect called it off as a joke, and they released him after they found no indication the threat was serious. June 28, 2018, a man was arrested following an incident at the Department of Justice. Like, there's been tons of people arrested just from them looking them up on 4chan. It's not protected. It's not anonymous. The anonymous part of 4chan is you don't have to make an account. Nobody knows who you are. You can be racist and talk shit. You still can't do. They've been shut down so many times for child porn. It ain't even funny, and they've had people arrested for it.
I still refer to him as to his face, just to be like, I know what your position is, but you were too. So that's just a little thing. But anyway,
fake humor.
Several months I called from too was probably towards the beginning of maybe the first part of 2017. It took me months to not only locate but build software algorithm and an entirely untraceable, very intricate network. That's what I did. I had a little bit of help from some people that you know. And then the post began.
Software algorithm and a fully untraceable network. Is he claiming he built 4chan?
Only locate but build software algorithm of maybe the first thing. But anyway, just as we can never be found. 4chan was the perfect. Those same rules.
How could you find 4chan and build 4chan?
Platform. Security-wise, is very easy to encrypt. And when I say encrypt, like, you know, we're talking about we have to disguise who's posting from everyone in the world. The greatest hacking groups in the world. We can never be found. Who's making these posts can never be found. Where they're logging in from needs to be untraceable forever. Not just for while the post exists, but forever. That's what I did.
That's right. Tomorrow night, Patreon only.
Call from two.
Pathetic Patriot.
Was probably, you know, I never referred to him as two until tonight. I think you guys know that. I still refer to him as two. To his face. Just to be like, I know what your position is. The whole reason you would just say, oh, well, they're gay. You know, like it's a negative.
God damn it. It did it again.
To communicate with the general public. And the concept was that other social media outlets, such as the most popular obviously being Facebook, Instagram, not undetectable for, you know, a couple brief little hacking expeditions, undetectable forever. That's a tall task. So in other words, this platform, which would be some sort of posting platform, some sort of communication device, was going to be used by the Q team, to congressional members, right? So if you're on our side and you just don't like me because you think I'm a liar, right? That is what you really are. The other side acts. Isn't that or not? No, it's not true. You have no. I just wanted to say that prior to ruled over all of us, and none of us were aware of it, except a very, very small group of people. And those people couldn't do anything about it because then if you saw congressional members and
I'm trying to find it again.
Scary to me. And then I get the call into two questions. Undetectable forever. That's a tall task. So in other words, this platform, which would be some sort of posting platform, some sort of communication device, was going to be used by the Q team, to communicate with the general public. And
Bill can't even buy fucking plane tickets without leaking his information.
the concept was that other social media outlets, such as the most popular obviously being Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, were already controlled by this group that we were trying to take down, by the opposition. So going to them and trying to drum up a support campaign for the truth wasn't going to work because we would just be deplatformed. So we needed to find I, in particular, needed to find something that was not going to follow those same rules. And that's when I found 4chan. 4chan was the perfect platform. Security-wise, it was very easy to encrypt. And when I say encrypt, we're talking about, we have to disguise who's posting from everyone in the world. The greatest hacking groups in the world.
They know where the IP addresses and where these Q posts were made from already. That's been analyzed.
We can never be found.
Some of them were made from fucking Roger Stone's house.
Who's making these posts can never be found. Where they're logging in from needs to be untraceable forever. Not just for while the post exists, but forever. That's what I did. Took several months. That call from 2 was probably, I never referred to him as 2 until tonight. I think you guys know that.
I never referred to him as 2, except for tonight. But I do it all the time to his face.
I still refer to him.
I just made that up tonight. Is what he means.
I know what your position is, but you were too. So that's just a little thing. But anyway, took several months. That call from 2 was probably towards the beginning of maybe the first part of 2017. Took me months to not only locate, but build software algorithm and an entirely untraceable, very intricate network. That's what I did. I had a little bit of help from some people that you know. And then the post began. I tell you this, there's not one person that's Q. Okay, I think that's kind of public knowledge by now. I think you can see by some of the ways that certain Q drops are written that they're being written by different people. It's not the same posting style. It's not the same. A lot of it is different. And some of them are even signed Q+, right? So you know that's just the team telling you that this is a different poster. And you'll see Q+++. I don't know if you know who that might have been, but I had posted.
Q+ is Trump. Not Q+++.
I know who the traders are within that group. And when I say that group, I'm talking about Anons. I know who they were on that platform, their trick codes, and I know I can trace that to their Twitter accounts.
He knows who they were by their trip codes. They all had the same trip code, except for a few times when it was exposed and it changed. A trip code will not help you. A trip code, even if you busted someone's trip code, you know what they get? Your password. A word. That's it. If my trip code is EL1749 exclamation point plus / //62 and you hacked it, you would get my password is Mariah's butthole. How the fuck does that lead you to my Twitter account? You wouldn't get my name. You wouldn't get my information. You would get my phone number. You would get my location. You wouldn't get anything.
I can now trace that to their Telegram accounts, and they're the same people who speak negatively about me. But if I started speaking negatively about them, that would not be good for them. But I don't. What's common for people like that, Static?
Just a simple setting on Streamlabs.
Locals?
He's giving me a headache, legit. I'm going to go home and eat some mushrooms.
Is much worse than me giving a bad report on social media. So, but there was a group that posted, and those posts, and you could go back through all the thousands of posts that were posted by Q, and when Q says you have it all,
he's still. I mean, like, I made him look like a fucking retard when we were talking about trip codes. He still doesn't know what it is. The least he could do is look it up, but his grannies don't know what it is either.
We really do have it all. We were literally told everything that was going to happen years before it happened. Now, I want to tell you a little something else.
Except all the times he's been wrong. Every time.
Everything that has happened, starting in 2017 up until today, December 13th, 2023, everything that you saw happen publicly, from Trump's inauguration to impeachment hoax.
Trump's inauguration didn't happen after the first Q post, you fucking retard.
All of the shit that happened, that had already happened. I know this is hard to comprehend, but you have to understand the world that we're living in. None of it happened in the time frame that you think it happened. If you were to go to Google or Wikipedia right now and say, when did, I'm trying to think of an example.
Trump's inauguration. Big good one. You started with it.
When was Donald Trump impeached for the second time? You're going to get a date and you're going to get a set of circumstances. Except that impeachment actually never happened. It happened publicly, and we know that it happened because we saw it happen, right? That was not the case. They attempted many things, starting in 2017 after Trump was inaugurated, to do to Donald Trump. And they failed at all of them. Because by 2017, we were already in control. The military in our country has already rescued this country. What we've been living through for the last 6 years is nothing more. And, you know, we say it and it's so cliche and people get so sick of the term, but it's just a movie. All of these events that are playing out and that have been playing out in front of you for 6 years are nothing but a very well-written, scripted transaction. And they're being fed to you through the mainstream media, which we control, to make it seem like things are against us.
This doesn't even make sense. He just announced a few months ago that the mainstream media was under our control. Now it's been under our control since 2017. He said the Trump inauguration. The Trump inauguration happened in 2017, true. But it happened, the first Q post was in the fall of 2017.
And that the cabal has power.
August, I think.
And that Trump is impeached,
November,
and then arrested, and then put through trial. None of that is true. Let me tell you what is true. That smokescreen that's been happening for 6 years now. What's actually happening is the destruction of evil. And the only way that I could describe it is by calling it godlike. We are being shielded, purposely. We are being shielded and we are being blocked from the actual events that are occurring by this smokescreen. And what is the smokescreen? Joe Biden's, he's dead. He died. Hillary Clinton, dead, died. Okay, yet you see these people, right? You see actors, body doubles, so to speak, that are in their place. So we're looking over here, we're thinking, oh, this is so hard, oh, this and that, oh, this is bad, and this is bad, and this is bad, and this is bad. Let me tell you something. We set that up. We did. Our side. We did that. Do you know why?
You know how I know Phil knows he's losing his case? He got video footage of the second deposition already. How many clips did he share from it?
Because if this operation was going to work in the destruction of the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the Obamas and the Clintons and everybody that came before that, the Bushes that had a hand in the destruction of our humanity, the destruction of our race, if we were going to get them, if we were going to take them down for good, it can't be happening in real time. It has to happen in such a secret manner that it was almost like it wasn't happening.
Secret, like my erectile dysfunction until this court case I started.
This plan had been set up since 2012. Why 2012? Because we got Obama doing something back then. You're going to learn about that really soon. It's not going to be tonight for me, but you're going to learn about it. But Obama did something in 12 that caused the military to finally say, enough. This is treason committed by the highest office. We're going in. Obama was almost extracted from office. Don't know if you guys knew that. In 2012, after his win over Romney. Romney knows all about this. That's why he always appears that he's lying, because he is. Starting in 2012, the premise for this takedown had begun. I would equate it to a chessboard setting up your pieces, right? So you put your row of pawns, you got your rooks, your bishops, your knights, king and queen, right? Your places are set. Your opponent already had theirs set for years, but you finally just put your places, on the board, right? Except the difference with this chess game is that we get to make 10 moves before the opponent does. And that's what we did.
That's the dumbest fucking game of chess ever.
We made 10 moves before the opponent did. So now the opponent comes onto a board where we've already moved 10 of our pieces. That is still going to be a battle before you get to the ultimate victory, but it's a battle that the other side can't win. So the battle begun upon Trump's inauguration in 2017, in January of 2017.
10 moves is not a whole lot of moves.
2017. Q started posting in October of 2017. The Q campaign, so to speak, was to educate you. To get people like you that knew something was wrong but couldn't quite put their finger on it, right? You knew something was up. The world can't be this way. Like, what is happening here? This is not, Christian-like. This is not any, there's no God in the world anymore. So what is
hell, there's 8 pawns
going on? Right? You knew it. Many of you knew it for decades, but you couldn't quite get there, right? You would read books like the Bilderberg Group.
There are plenty of people in this world that I could have 10 moves first and they would still beat my ass.
The Q campaign, so to speak, was to educate you. To get people like you that knew something was wrong but couldn't quite put their finger on it, right? You knew something was up. The world can't be this way. Like, what is happening here? This is not, Christian-like. This is not any, there's no God in the world anymore. So what is going on? Right? You knew it. Many of you knew it for decades.
There's no God in the world. So Trump's bringing back God. Trump's going to grab Jesus by the pussy and drag him back to America.
But you couldn't quite get there, right? You would read books like the Bilderberg Group book. You would read the books. You would have these hunches, but you just couldn't quite get it, right? That's what Q was for. It was to show you that you're not alone in your thinking. And
you can't move in 3 moves without the other player moving. You can't win in 3 moves without the other player moving.
Why do you think Q got into the mainstream media? Do you think the mainstream media mentioning Q was a deterrent for people? You think the mainstream media mentioned Q because they didn't want you to know about Q? If they didn't want you to know about Q, wouldn't they just not mention it? Why would they have to go to such extremes to say, "Oh, QAnon, don't listen to QAnon"?
I think it's 2 moves, but they have to open up. They have to open up a pawn in front of their diagonal to their king.
Whatever you do, don't listen to QAnon. Listen, we're at the point where people know something's going on, and they're going to listen to anything because they're just not sure anymore. And people have now decided that they're going to decide for themselves. You're not going to tell people what they can and can't listen to anymore, right? Why do you think the media started mentioning Q that way? Because they wanted people to look it up. They wanted people to start reading that shit. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. Exactly. And the plan worked on that portion. The plan worked perfectly. Millions and millions, tens, hundreds of millions of people worldwide not only know about Q, but because of Q, people know the evil that has corrupted the world. We know about sex trafficking. We know about human trafficking. We know about child trafficking, child sex trafficking. We know about corruption in government, not only within the United States, which is obvious, but around the world. We know about the Vatican. We know about Israel. We know about the gold.
No, we're talking about sets of moves. I think you can win in 2. It's holy shit. It would be pawn to G4. And then you would have to open up one of the diagonals for your queen. And then F pawn moves it all. And then your queen H4 would win. It's 4 moves total. Oh, thank you.
I'm a little bit drunk.
Who is that?
Cause I'm drinking.
She looks pretty easy, huh? It's called the Fool's Mate or the Fool's Checkmate or Checkmate of the Fool or something like that.
We know about Nasera. We know about the banks. We know about the central banks. None of us knew this before. That has all happened since 2017. And while you were getting educated, while you were catching up on everything, while you were listening to people like me, while you were listening to other truthers out there, while you were getting bits and pieces of information all over the place, you know why you're getting those bits and pieces of information? Because Q told you to. Q told you to look there. I'm going to drop a big bomb on your head. I don't know if you're going to realize this, but you're welcome to go look at the statistics, okay? COVID. COVID was rolled out in late 2019, early 2020, okay?
Trump rolled it out.
I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but again, go look it up. If it's a statistic that's so unbelievable that you just can't comprehend it. COVID was rolled out in 2020. The number of cases diagnosed for COVID-19 are available. Go look them up. Look at the number of cases of the flu, influenza. You're going to notice something. Now look at the number.
Do you know why that is? Imagine a world where people are in their homes way more often than they ever are. They don't go anywhere. They are terrified, washing their hands, sanitizing. You know how many people in this world don't wash their fucking hands? Terrified, washing their hands and sanitizing. Staying 6 feet away from everybody and wearing a mask. Now imagine nothing else is going on. They're just in their homes way more. They don't go hardly anywhere. Everywhere's closed. They wear a mask. They wash their hands religiously because they're terrified. And they don't go within 6 foot of anybody. And nothing else is going on. What do you think would happen to the flu numbers? Okay? That's like saying, here we go, okay? That's like saying there is no gas whatsoever. There's no gas whatsoever. And at the same time, people are dying from airbag accidents. And you say, oh my God, just this year, 30,000 people died from airbag accidents, from sitting in their car, for being in their car. But look at the crashes we've had this year. They're way down. Why do you think that is? Well, because there's gas. If people washed their hands, stayed away from people, and everywhere closed down like when COVID happened and there was no COVID, the flu cases would drop insanely too. They beg people to wash their fucking hands. People don't wash their fucking hands.
Numbers in 21. Throughout that whole few-year period.
How many of you guys changed something when COVID happened? How many of you guys changed something? I'm not saying you had to wear a mask. How many of you guys washed your hands more? Or, used something when you were opening a door, or went less places, or didn't go somewhere because it was closed, or didn't eat somewhere because it was closed? Everybody, the whole world changed their fucking habits. For at least a few months.
COVID, mask. The flu was eradicated. There were almost 0 cases of the flu. And the number of cases of COVID mirrored what the number of cases of the flu for the previous 5 or 10 years were. So if there were 500,000 cases of the flu in, let's say, 2017, right? The flu, static.
Static. Talk to someone who's immunocompromised, and they'll tell you all about their fucking routine. And that's the way all of us should probably be fucking living.
There. Okay. The number of cases of COVID were the same as previous years of the flu.
Because the reason COVID was a scare, so someone said, by that logic, that everyone is super safe. Why was COVID still running rampant? The reason that COVID was terrifying was not necessarily because how deadly it was, although it was deadly to certain people with certain conditions. It was how easily it spread. We had no defense to it. We had no defense to it. You have a defense for the flu. You have a defense for the cold. You have a defense. We had no defense for it. It was the easiest passed around virus that we had ever fucking seen. Ever. That's why it was terrifying. So even with those precautions, people were still giving it to each other.
And the flu went down to zero. So all that they did was they said flu cases were COVID. That's all they did. As if that's not bad enough. Go back and look at the number of deaths, total deaths, associated with all illnesses in, let's say, 2010 and forward, 2010 to 2020. And then of this big global pandemic, I'm not just talking about the United States, I'm talking about worldwide. Look at the number of deaths in that 10-year period, 2010 to 2020, right? And then look at the deaths in the COVID spike years. What do you notice? It didn't go up. No one died of COVID. Not a single person died of COVID. You know why? At this point, sitting here, not knowing the full scope of it, but you could ascertain that COVID wasn't even real. How do you know you have COVID? Take a test, right? Who gives you the test? Your hospital or your doctor, right? Where'd they get it from?
The government.
Who made the test? I sit here as a perfectly healthy 40-year-old man. If I were to take a test for AIDS right now, I don't have AIDS. I can tell you I don't have AIDS. Okay?
I'm trying to look up. There's some type of ranking they give for transmissibility. I don't even know if that's a word. How contagious something is. There's some type of rating they use for it.
But if I were to take a test for AIDS and somebody gave me that test and I tested positive, I would think that I had AIDS, right?
Yeah, especially if you got it from a kid. That'd be weird.
Because the test said so. So whoever's giving me the test is purposely trying to make the test positive, right? They want me to think I have something that I don't have. That's what COVID was. Remdesivir, very dangerous. Very dangerous. It was one of those last pawn pieces, or last chess pieces, I should say, being moved on the board from the deep state. Was there a bad vaccine at some point? Probably. But as far as COVID goes, I don't think COVID actually existed. I don't think it ever even touched humanity at all.
It didn't
all this talk
exist.
about it all, Fauci and Wuhan, and it's all just part of the. Listen,
the problem with a PCR test. The problem with a PCR test is a PCR test is based on cycles, and the more cycles you run it, the more likely it is to show up positive. So basically, you could get somebody positive if you just ran it enough cycles eventually. When they were first using the PCR test, there was like a soft number of cycles they were going to run it. People were running it more, people were running it less. It can be used in an appropriate manner, but it can also be abused.
It really took up a lot of your attention, didn't it? How many times did you put a mask on your face? How many times did you refuse to wear a mask? How many times did you have a conversation about masks with somebody else? Whether it was a store owner, they wouldn't let you in if you didn't wear it. Whether it was your family, how many? You are so focused on the masks and the COVID and the and meanwhile, deep state and the cabal is being eradicated from the world. So they did a really good job getting you to look over here, huh? Remember all my lives to talk about false flags? What do you think?
He was arguing that it shouldn't be used. He was originally arguing that it shouldn't be used for AIDS testing.
Referring to? That was all nothing but one big giant look over there while we do this, because we don't want anybody to know that this is happening. You know what the Rothschild family is worth? Well, was worth $600 trillion. Trillion. That's more than half the world's currency. How do you beat somebody like that? Do you beat them by fighting them publicly and let everybody know that you do it? No, you don't. You do it covertly, and that's exactly what happened. There are no deaths from COVID. There probably was never any COVID.
Yeah, the comments are from the 90s, sometimes in the 90s.
Just look at the number. All you got to do is look at the numbers to know that. Listen, guys. Everybody thinks that there's this big miracle that's needed. There's a huge, process that has to take place. There's, where is the EBS and where is it? Listen, when the EBS comes, that is a time for an entire
EBS
consciousness shift.
What about Nassar Gassara that happened November 5th?
The crimes that such and such and such committed. It's going to be telling you about all of the things that happened.
Every year you said Trump would be back. Every year you said Nassara. Every year you said everything.
To allow us to get here. What did we as citizens of the world allow to happen to get humanity in this place? And how close were we pushed to the brink of being lost forever? You guys lost relatives of COVID? So did I. I think I lost two. I think I lost my grandfather. I think I lost my grandmother. But it wasn't to COVID.
It didn't exist.
They used the COVID test to get those people that you lost into the hospital and then stick them in the arm with poison. And again, this isn't something that we should look at and be like, oh, well, if they're able to do that, then, they still got us. No, it's just while the eradication of the cabal and the deep state was going on for the last 6 years, there are different areas that still had a little bit of power and a little bit of influence. And one of those areas was the World Health Organization and big-time companies that have risen. You have no idea how big Pfizer actually is. You have no idea how big Moderna actually is in the power that they yield over hospitals worldwide. If they wanted to get a drug into hospitals, they're going to do it. And the White House can only go so far by stopping it. They stopped the vaccine, but what they didn't stop was remdesivir. And anybody that got a dose of that likely died. Listen, I'm not here to brag. I'm not. I'm here to try to change lives. I've been trying to do that. I've been wanting to do that since I was a little kid. And twice my hopes and my dreams were shattered. And then in 2017, we got a second chance. And I've been doing my best every single day to not only make things right in this world, but leave this world a better place for my kids and their kids after that than it was for me growing up. That's why I'm here. There are certain pieces that
he's making the world worse
place before all this happens, but I can tell you,
dream shattered. It's over. Dream shattered.
Closer to the EBS today than we've ever been. We are closer to Trump coming back into office than we've ever been. The indictments against Trump are about to be thrown out because he is not prosecutable. Because if they rule him to be prosecutable and he does not have presidential immunity, and this is going to be the reasoning why they don't rule that way. And I'm talking about SCOTUS, of course. If you didn't know,
Rico just resubscribed for 3 months.
Rico, thank you.
Holiday tree.
Thank you very much. Yeah, he's emptying people's bank accounts. He's draining the Social Security, population.
Jack Smith went to the Supreme Court and said, you guys got to rule on this, hurry up, otherwise I can't proceed. If he has immunity, I can't charge him. If they say Trump doesn't have immunity, what happens to previous presidents, right? That's going to be their reasoning. So they're going to rule Trump has immunity. Those cases get tossed. Then it's time for Trump to come back. And this whole election shit to 2024,
It won't be 2024 election.
So we have never been more on the precipice than we were now. I know I've said that before. I know there's going to be memes floating around with Phil saying it 4 different times, but this time it's true.
I know I've said it before. I know they make me memes about me saying it every fucking year, about 4 times a year. But this time it's true. I know I murdered your boyfriend and your sister and your friends that were all in the car with a chainsaw, but I'm not going to hurt you. And I know I told them I wouldn't hurt you. I wouldn't hurt them either. But this time it's true. Got it.
It's already been done. There's not, and you know, the catchphrase that we came up with was nothing can stop what is coming, right? It came, how many times have you heard or seen that before?
Nick Swick, baby.
It's true. And the reason why you can't stop it is because it already happened. You can't change something that's already happened. It happened regardless. It's there. It happened, period. And now it's just the curtain call. It's just the curtain call. And I'm telling you, and I've been telling you for 3 years, and I want to say it again, and I want you to remember it. And I know cognitive dissonance is going to get in the way of you rationalizing what I'm about to say. Don't let it, because this is the truth. What I'm about to say is so true, more truer than any other truths that have ever been told in this world.
More truer than any other truths that have ever been told in this world. This one's more truer. This is more truer than any other truths that have ever been told in this world.
You are living through the greatest time in human history. You are alive to witness this while it all was going.
You're living through Phil's greatest financial windfall in what will ever be his history.
Down. In fact, you were a soldier on the front line of the greatest time in human history. You were a soldier and you fought. And how did you fight? You fought with your voice. You fought with your postings on social media. You fought with your viewership. You helped share shows not only like mine, but others. And you helped red pill. How many people? Red pilling is the sign of a soldier. Static, of course.
Red pilling is a sign of a soldier. Okay?
Levels. Red pilling is the sign of, I'm sorry, I should say it this way. Attempting to red pill is the sign that you are a soldier in this war. Red pilling somebody is like getting a kill. It's like you killed one of your opponents. I'm not saying obviously if you red pill somebody, you're not killing them, but it's equating a soldier's battle. And that's what each and every one of you have been trying to do. And even if you haven't done it, it's okay. You're still part of the battle. And we're going to need you towards the end. We're going to need you. Because this is coming to a close. No one should tell you any different. I don't give a shit what other truthers are saying. I don't care what their names are. I don't care what level of government they're on, because I know these things to be factual because I helped start it. So no one's going to tell me what's actually happening because this one said that and this one says he's wrong and that one says he's wrong. That's all noise to me. It's literally in one ear out the other because I have a direct line to the people who are in charge. And if you don't like that, leave. If you don't.
But he's also said that he has no direct line, under oath, that he has no direct line. He doesn't have anybody in the administration. He doesn't talk to any of those people. But now he has a direct line.
Believe me, I don't give a shit. It's true.
He doesn't give a shit because a majority of people are going to believe and are going to send him money.
We've won. We've won for a while now. And all that's left is the crying for them and a celebration for us. And boy, is that going to be a celebration for the ages. You have no idea the level of celebration that's going to be. That'll do it for tonight. My sponsors for tonight are goldquiz.com. Goldquiz.com will help you roll over your 401k or your IRA into precious metals. Get it the hell out of that stock market. I'm telling you right now, get it out of the stock market and back it with precious metals. The link to Gold Quiz is
there's the ad. Why is there the ad at the end? This is the greatest time in the world. We're all about to be millionaires.
My other sponsor for tonight is TackRite. TackRite has those mini chainsaws. I just ordered a couple more, actually, for myself. Great Christmas gifts, especially if you have somebody who has trees in their yard or bushes in their yard. These things are so easy to handle. It's better than those big, bulky chainsaws, or regular size chainsaws that you need. The mini
Yeah, who needs a regular size chainsaw? Why didn't we just invent Chinese battery-powered chainsaws to fucking tame the West? Nobody needs a bulky chainsaw that cuts. Get a handheld one with a 3-inch bar. What are you, Paul Bunyan?
in the yard or bushes in their yard. These things are so easy to handle. It's better than those big, bulky chainsaws, or regular size chainsaws that you need. The mini ones are amazing. Good price, back in stock for a limited time. Link down below in the description. Thank you guys for tuning in. I told you tonight was going to be big. We broke a record with our audience, and I love you guys. I'm going to have another live this week, probably tomorrow, actually. If not tomorrow, then Friday, but most likely tomorrow. So we're going to do a Q&A tomorrow. That'll be my next live.
He doesn't even know. Super hacker doesn't know when he's cutting off his words when he ends his stream. That's Phil Godlewski's new lies. They contradict everything he testified to in court. I guarantee you all this adds is a new deposition. The only thing that's going to save him from this is discovery closes on December 31st. And maybe that's why he did this now, because it would be way, 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 way too hard for them to get in before December 31st. But if this isn't thrown out in January or February like it's going to be, if this is, he will answer to this. I guarantee it. Everything is in direct contrast to everything he swore under oath. Now, the fucking retards he fucking shared all of his depositions with, his deposition tapes. They said it must be true. It has to be true because he's under oath. But all the other stuff that he said under oath, they're like, oh, he's got an NDA. He can't tell him who he really is. He can't say this and do that. So it's not going to change any of his diehard fans. But people should be pointing out all the fucking discrepancies here. Guys, support the show while we're offline. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all for joining us. Phil, give me a headache. I'm going to go eat some mushrooms with my wife. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see everybody on the next one. Don't do anything Phil would do and then testify to doing and then lie about it on his very next live stream. Have a good night. We'll see you on the next one. I'll be back tomorrow for Patreon only, where we get torn apart by the pathetic patriot. He's got a petition to shut down my channel. He needs you to sign it. I want you to sign it. I want to see your names on it. We'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night. For the show, we're offline. Coldbeer.fund. The Audible link's cool if you want to use it. It's a free trial. We get paid whether you sign up or not. Just do the free trial. Or use coldbeer.fund, one of the donation links. See you guys.
Tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6 cents for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on
methamphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on.
Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you the next one.
Come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it. Here we go. I think I started some shit.